That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to the show where we wax poetic about the movies we watch on a month-to-month basis. It's time to crack open our movie memoirs. All right, Dragon. It is the May 2022 edition. How you feeling this month, Dragon? How did this month treat you?
Outside of the news portion in certain parts, overall, pretty good. I don't know, get a lot of surprises in this month.
Nice. Well, I gotta say, for me personally, I think it's been a little bit of a mixed bag as far as the movies that I've watched goes. But holy shit, Dragon, on the TV side of things, oh my god, oh man, I'm kind of floored by one thing in particular that I can't wait to talk about. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's start with the aforementioned news, Dragon. What do we got?
Well, as we tend to do, we start with the worst news and kind of work our way up. So, we had two passings, and they're both quite sad. So we had George Perez, or Perez, I think the technical pronunciation. So Mr. Perez, of course, legend in the industry. A while back, I believe I brought up the sad diagnosis, and that George Perez, comic artist extraordinaire, by the way. Art was mainly his thing. I believe it was pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed with a form of cancer, and he was faced with a choice, either months in hospitals, to roll the dice, or, just kind of live out the last days, and he opted to live out his last days, so his time kind of ran out. But just to go over it, this man's legacy is just paramount, like one of the Mount Rushmores in terms of comic books, the medium. I mean, George Perez, he revitalized Wonder Woman. He brought that kind of the Greek gods into it. The Teen Titans, back in its heyday. I mean, like when the Teen Titans were something to parody before it was became the parody itself, He was the event guy, like the biggest events in comic history, from both sides of the company, even more. I mean, he did Crisis on Infinite Earths. He did Infinity Gauntlet. He did, and the biggest thing, I think the biggest feather in the man's cap, he did the big crossover. He did the best crossover between Marvel and DC, which you can only count on one hand the times that they've done this. JLA Avengers, that was him. So just...
Nice. Sorry, I don't have a ton to add to this conversation.
Yeah, I was just wondering about, am I hitting any mark here? Am I hitting anything here?
No, I mean, I'm sorry. It's like, honestly, the only thing that you listed that I've even read is the Infinity Gauntlet. So, I mean, yeah, total, I don't know, Dragon. I'm sorry. I always feel awkward with these deaths when it's like it's not someone I'm personally attached to.
But I mean, still, you can appreciate, the fact that he did,
I can. Yeah.
Literally, that's pretty huge. They've only crossed over,
it is
three times, and he did the best one. And the point being, as we usually kind of really herald a lot of the writers and stuff, and I'm saying, we keep losing these comic talents in these months recently. We lost the great Neil Adams last month.
Well, we lose comic talents in both sense of the words, both in the comic book industry and comedians.
Which I know, which is it's kind of a sad irony. It's been going on lately. I mean, we lost Godfrey on the funny side, but previously Bob Saget, Louis Anderson, and
I told you about that really tasteless joke that the Nostalgia Critic made about Godfrey recently, right?
I saw a bunch of tasteless Godfrey jokes on the Nostalgia Critic recently, but sure.
Oh, the full episode, yeah. The full episode, pretty much. Anyways, we don't need to dwell on that.
Okay. Point being, just again, George Perez, again, he was very much illustrated, the history of which we don't have, three phases. We don't have, the third phase of the MCU done proper without, what George Perez did visually. So, yeah, it's pretty big.
All right, Dragon, now we have to say goodbye to everyone's favorite honey mascot, Ray Liotta.
Yep, with an Emmy he got from an episode of ER. Yep.
No, the honey thing.
Well, no, it's the same movie, Tiki.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Remember, he said that he's holding his Emmy on the stand that says, "Oh yes."
Right, it's been a while, Dragon. All I remember is hey, it's Ray Liotta, honey. Anyways, so yeah, obviously Ray Liotta. The thing that I know him most from, I can't really name off the top of my head a lot of other stuff. But obviously Goodfellas. That's Goodfellas and B-movie, Dragon. Those are two kind of polar diametric opposites of each other, but in a lot of ways, given the B-movie meme of it all, it kind of fits.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Liotta again. Harold Liotta could like basically rest on his laurels for the majority of his career with Goodfellas. I mean, Goodfellas is it. It's like the movie. It's like just. I think what made Liotta really special is the fact that what he brought to that role, what he brought to that film was, he brought like there was a ruthlessness, yet there was a great humanity, and you had him as like the eyes into kind of like being a made guy, or at least on the path to being a made man. And I think he's the whole eyes into the mob and the narration and everything. And of course, the way he played that paranoia in the third act.
Mhm.
I mean, just again, that makes a guy's career. It's just so perfectly. I mean, Goodfellas is like one of the best, one of Scorsese's best, and I think for a lot of people, one of the best mob movies made, because it just feels like the most authentic. But
You know what I kind of liken his performance in Goodfellas to, as far as like a career trajectory goes, is I kind of liken it to like something like a Tim Robbins in Shawshank, where it's like he's done a lot of other stuff that's very good after that, but like Shawshank and Goodfellas were like the landmark roles. They kind of like overshadowed the rest of his career, kind of in a good way, because it's like they're just legendary performances.
I mean, that's the thing. He could kind of write his own ticket, but by the same token, he did get a little typecast, which is a shame.
Yes.
But though, just towards the end, though, to shout this out, I mean, the last couple of years, we kind of pop up like the good luck penny on the streets, one could say. And when he popped up, you could say that like he's a Marriage Story, for example. He was.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
if I recall, he was Adam Driver's lawyer in Marriage
Uh-huh.
Story, and then you had, of course, the Many Saints of Newark, which he had a dual role in, and which is really interesting, by the way. The fact that he plays,
Was that his last performance?
Yeah, at least that's the last notable performance. But yeah,
That's tricky. Yeah,
here's the thing: he's going to have more roles coming out posthumously, but essentially
Uh-huh.
that was like the last one we saw him in. But yeah, that's the
Bookends.
thing. But that's the thing that with those roles, that kind of epitomized what he did so well, which you had like the ruthlessness that he would get typecast as one of the Molgasantes, and then you had the nice guy, the very humanist kind of like Henry Hill Molgasante,
Right.
which again, it's so cyclical that again his career really starts with Goodfellas and it ends in The Sopranos, which essentially you don't get a Sopranos without a Goodfellas or a Godfather. So it's really interesting. It is very cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, what's next?
All right, moving on from genuinely tragic news to first world tragic news. Also, I want to shout out the Iceman, because no one ever talks about it. He was really good in the Iceman, too. He played the mob boss in that, too. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
Yeah.
The CW just irks me to no end.
Oh, God. Oh, shoot, Dragon. I meant to watch that Gotham Knights trailer, but I didn't get around to it.
All day, didn't get around to it. Great.
I'm sorry.
I had to watch it, mind you. So thanks for that. Anyway, so this whole the point is the CW, they've a lot of their shows basically the CW has kind of set their trap a while back. Just the fact they never cancel they never end any of their shows until they're either canceled or they just basically the stars get so bored, like everyone in the cast is going to jump ship until they're left with the bare minimum, and it's just sad. And that's how the CW works. And the only two exceptions right now, the only two things they have left, honestly, because the Flash is hemorrhaging, like the word, like basically the writing's on the wall. Technically, they got renewed.
Run, Barry, run.
See, what's sad, folks, is that used to mean something, and now it's just a sad reminder of what once was. And basically, now I'm only watching The Flash mainly. This is just so how sad, because he's going to come up next week again. I just cling to whenever the Reverse Flash comes back. That's what I cling to, because he's kind of the kingpin of that show.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Seriously, Kavanaugh, like a while back when he showed up during the big event, he was so good. Like, oh my God.
I have no doubt, Dragon. He's always great.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like the Reverse Flash finally got his big day in the sun. It was like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for. I've been trudging through this terrible season for. Yes.
Well, I'm glad you got some enjoyment out of the season.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just sad. But that's why the point is the Flash is like the writing's on the wall. Somehow they got renewed for yet another season when everyone pretty much wants to just stop. You get the sense of.
Right.
So much so other shows, Legends of Tomorrow, literally, the word is, the actors, again, because they've been losing so many of the cast members, they keep having to fill in new people.
I thought Legends of Tomorrow was one of the good ones.
Well, no, again, taking the formula of the CW is all the first 2 seasons, with the exception of
Oh
Batwoman,
God.
are all good, and then they basically lose a piece of the DNA each
Uh.
season that goes on. So again, it gets progressively worse and worse. And Legends of Tomorrow was on 7 or 8 at that point.
Oh gee. Oh God. Oh that. Oh.
I know
Time.
it was 7.
What is
I don't know if they
time?
made it to 8. So that's what I'm saying.
Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Sorry, Dragon. I'm just having an existential crisis. That show's been on for 7 years. Anyways.
Well, again, The Flash is about to be on 9.
For some reason, The Flash does feel like it's been on longer. I don't know. Maybe just because I've been following The Flash a little bit more closely. Like I've watched some of The Flash. Anyways,
okay, bye.
Don't mind me.
My point is, Legends of Tomorrow is like the cast is to make it even more embarrassing. Like the true nail in the coffin for the CW as a company right now, which basically is they're basically the lights are about to be shut off at the CW, and you can sense it. Is that like the actors essentially begged, like, can you please end the show? Well, no, I'm not.
Oh shoot! What did I do?
What?
I'm sorry. Did I mute myself? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm still going.
I think I accidentally muted my volume, Dragon. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
I was like, there was a pause, and I was like, okay, is he done? Sorry.
Story of my life. The point is, the Legends of Tomorrow cast got so fed up, they basically said, can you end the show? Because we don't want to do it anymore. And
God. That's
what happened. Because again, like all the actors keep basically begging to leave, and they just go like, well, they all want to go. We should probably end the show.
I mean, yeah, at that point, when your actors don't have any passion behind it at all, yeah, that's
to be good. That innumerous, though, that it's almost unanimous. That's
right,
bad.
Right.
Like they're like the little Naomi show, which no one cared about's gone. Batwoman, 3 seasons too late, got canceled, which brings us to the big story. So,
yes.
The CW, if they couldn't get more insulting at this juncture, I heard the rumors. I didn't want it to be true. I didn't want it to make it past the pilot phase, but it's happening, and I have no idea how. And the trailer is like worse than anything I've ever seen in relation to Batman ever. I mean, this is like the worst Batman thing I've ever seen. It's bad. Gotham Knights is just... The CW already like laid a big insult. The fact we're just going to write Batman out the worst way possible because it's either a stupid bat embargo or we just don't have the stones to do him right. Hence the Batwoman of it all. We're like, oh yeah, he just left because it got too hard. No backbreak, nothing. He just left. Anyway, so Gotham Knights, for those who may not be aware, essentially, it's not like the neat video game they have coming out with like the Bat family, picking up the reins. No, it's not the game. They stole the name from the game. So Gotham Knights, and it's embarrassing because it's kind of a similar premise. That's what's really embarrassing about it. Because again, Batman's dead in that game, and he's dead here. They killed Batman off here yet again.
What? Oh no!
The second time, I forget if they killed off Batman in that Batwoman show or not. Because I know they wrote him out. I think they I don't know because I don't follow that show. I hate that show. The fact is, Gotham Knights, Tiki, if you watch this trailer, they kill Batman off in like the worst way possible ever.
How?
Okay, you're not going to believe me if I tell you.
Oh, God.
Literally, so Batman, not even any of the Robins that we know and care about, out of the possible 4, just Batman adopted a random kid, some new guy.
Oh my God.
Who's probably not even a Robin, if I'm being honest.
This already sounds bad.
I know, it's going to get worse. So he's having a house party at Wayne Manor. Harvey Dent. Now, I'm going to say the only glimmer of anything that is just, again, I can't even say good, just like okay in this show is the fact they had a good actor playing Harvey Dent, but he's being played as like a cop before he's a lawyer, which doesn't make any sense. Michelle Collins from Supernatural. He's playing Harvey Dent. That's good cast deal from Supernatural. He's a good Harvey Dent.
Nice, yeah.
I could buy that, but this show is going to be terrible. He basically breaks in the news that...
at least he'll probably have more screen time than the Gotham Harvey Dent.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know what that's going to save anything. So he comes to the door. He says, hey, Bruce Wayne, your father's dead. Did you know he was Batman? And it just cuts to the worst Batman costume you've ever seen. You know how I've railed against Joshua Thomas is kind of Batman cowl.
Yes, yes.
I'm saying it's pretty much that. It's like we just put a guy who's like kind of curled over as if he fell down, wearing a Batman mask. I guess he was curb stomped or something. It's like it's like the worst Batman costume you ever seen. Just found dead in broad daylight. That's it. So they kill Batman off, and they're looking at the kids of the villains that they've somehow tracked down. I'm convinced, by the way, just based on the credits they've revealed, only one of which will be the actual children of a villain, because they're doing the dual ident thing, which is like the ambiguous daughter of Joker or Two-Face, which is a whole can of worms I don't want to get into. The point being, it's like majority of them I'm convinced are like Stephanie Brown, and like the Carrie Kelly's in the show as like he used to call me as Robin because I was like his ears on the street. It's like, oh no, it's terrible. It's just, and they're accusing the son of the murder for reasons, just to pair him up with the bad kids because that's their whole bread and butter of a premise. It's awful. It's terrible.
Okay, just for reference, like teenage drama is the reason why I couldn't get into Superman and Lois or whatever that show
It makes that show look amazing.
Oh, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does.
Look like Luke Cage by comparison.
Well, I hope Luke Cage season 1 and not season 2.
All right, fine. My point is,
just saying, you know how I feel about Luke Cage season 2.
It makes it look like a good Netflix show. All right.
All right.
My point is Tiki. It's just I'm sorry. It's so bad, and like they still. I don't know how the CW is just like they thought at all. This is like if they're gonna retake like the Powerpuff Girl show because it's so bad. Who greenlit this? That's what I want to know. Who in their right mind said let's do a Batman show yet again without Batman and not even a Robin properly?
Yeah, that sounds bad.
It's awful.
All right. So Winnie the Pooh's entered the public domain.
Yeah, more good news. Yeah.
All right. To be fair, I actually think this should be below the Stan Lee thing as far as bad news.
Well, I didn't know we were going to come down on it, so I kind of I assumed like it's looking at it from a distance.
Oh, where I come down on it, actually, Dragon, is I am actually like depending on the direction. Like it could be shit. It could be absolute dog shit. But depending on the direction, like it could also be very intriguing. I mean, you know me, Dragon. I'm a horror fan, so I'm open to this.
I mean, the only way I could see it working, and only in like an indie sense, I can't see this doing well like commercially at all.
Oh, I can't either, for sure.
And the only way I could see it working is like, okay, if you dive into the archetype, so at least it's on brand of like, like there's still the murderers have like things in common with the characters, perhaps.
Maybe.
I mean, that's all I got. Otherwise, I'm just saying this seems like a terrible idea. And again, it's kind of like it's highlighting the dangers of things going public domain.
Yes, that is true.
Like, we turned Winnie the Pooh into essentially a slasher, from what I can tell. Which I mean,
a feral Pooh Bear and Piglet go on a murderous rampage is the premise.
I didn't put this on the list of news items. I probably should have, but just because it's kind of related with kind of like a shocking approach to kind of a beloved IP. Did you hear about the Velma show?
Yeah, I did. I'm not crazy about it, but not for like, honestly, Dragon, like, fuck people who are like, Velma shouldn't be, whatever race. I'm sorry.
No, not that. I just mean the whole, like, we're really going a little gorier than we probably should with a Velma show.
It doesn't sound, it just doesn't seem like an appealing show, but there's some, like, racist fandom attached to that show.
My point is, that's the thing. I don't, honestly, looking at it, I don't recall if I can't remember the art if like Velma if they ended up still going the route where she's she's like a different race, and it doesn't really matter. So okay, well there you go. Regardless, it's still it seems like we took the really good Scooby Natural crossover, and I think we just like, hey, let's just rip that off. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Of like, yeah, but with missing the point entirely about what was so special about that.
So, Dragon, I think there's only one quote to sum this up. You know what it is?
What?
Poor A.A. mine.
Do you mean A.A. Mills?
No, mine.
Really?
Dragon, I'm literally quoting Saving Mr. Banks.
Huh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought that reference would like really land with you.
Not A.A. mine. That's what the line is.
Okay, maybe I'm mispronouncing
the writer's
it.
name is A.A. Mills. If that's the it's.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I
thought it was a good pull for the quote, though. All right.
I'm sorry. You say A.A. mine. You botched the whole thing up. That's where it is. That's
wow. All right.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. That's it's you. I thought you were referencing something else. It's like, hey,
no, I'm Saving Mr. Banks.
Well, yeah, that's a good pull. A little late.
All right. Okay, Dragon, we have to kind of like rapid fire through a lot of these now, okay?
All right.
So Stan Lee, I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, so apparently his likeness has been officially licensed after his death, which means beyond like I think beyond like the merchandise thing, which I think is okay because I bought a number of Stan Lee
I'm
merchandise.
totally fine with the merchandise. I'm just like,
But
I just don't want deep fake Stan showing up in every Marvel movie.
so yeah,
now.
that's assumedly from what they've announced about this thing, that seems to be like on the table now. Yeah, they can.
I mean, that is just like that is frankly a little gruesome, and I don't like it.
I mean, I'm of two minds about it because I agree with you. There is kind of an icky quality about it, but by the same token, Stanley would absolutely be down for that sort of thing.
You know what I always joked about is I always joked that that Stan Lee should have like a Prince vault of cameos that you can just like insert into movies.
Well, that's the thing. They were trying to do that by shooting them all in advance as much as they could, which is kind of what they ended up having. So, I mean, by that logic, Tiki, you could argue that, well, I mean, he'd be on board for that sort of thing. I mean, the Guardians kind of has one of those already, where the original Guardians of the Galaxy had another Stan Lee cameo shot with a stand-in. So, I mean, it's kind of like in the same vein of like, well, we're trying to kind of do a fill-in.
But this isn't literally a Prince vault, and I feel like there's Dragon, it's not necessarily the moral implications that are icky, it's the technology that's icky to me.
I mean, again, it definitely raises like a precedent, but again, I think applied to a guy who's a cameo, it's probably more acceptable than it would be for an entire performance.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's the thing. So, I mean, I don't know, I'm just of two minds about it, where, yeah, the print, like, the implication is more horrifying than I think the example.
All right.
Okay, so just long story short, the Star Wars Celebration happened. They announced a bunch of things. John Watts' Skeleton Crew, so that's what we're calling John Watts' little Star Wars project now. It's going to star, I believe, like kind of I'm hoping it's going to highlight the mundane part of Star Wars, which is the big in I'd have for the movie. You know, like Jude Law is going to be in it.
So, as you know, I'm not too happy about this news, Trek.
You're happy as a clam. Sure. You, Mr. First World Problems.
The way I see this news, basically, I mean, who knows? John Watts could just be a super big Star Wars fan, but he literally backed out of Fantastic Four because he was done with studio filmmaking for a while. He wanted to take a break. He wanted to go back to something on a smaller scale, like a cop car, and I fucking love Cop Car. Cop Car blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, like those Spider-Man movies are good, but this is amazing.
Did he specifically say smaller films like Cop Car?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, he said that though.
Yes.
All right.
And so Disney's just like, hey, John Watts, you like money? Dragon, yeah, that's how I view this whole situation. It's like dump truck full, and I hate this whole practice of Disney just I don't know. If John Watts is just genuinely like passionate about that, fine, that's cool. If this is what he genuinely wants to do, but Dragon, if this is a paycheck thing, if this is Disney just basically being like, we need to keep the Spider-Man director on board, however possible, throw him however much money, then I am not okay with this, Dragon. It's like, let the dude direct his little indie film. Like, I don't know, like John Watts' style to me works better for indie, and frankly, I am bored of Star Wars. We're gonna get there with Andor. I'm not even really watching Obi-Wan. So yeah. Okay, rant over.
Let me ask you this though. What if like the reason John Watts said yes was I'm gonna do an indie film as a Star Wars film?
I mean, that's cool in theory. I just don't buy that Lucasfilm would let that happen.
I'm just saying if they wanted to keep him happy, like we'll give you whatever you want. Well, I would like Star Wars, but only if I could do it my way.
I mean, Drake, I don't know.
I mean, I'm saying that's going to be if it's going to be like another big bombastic, oh, look at all the Star Wars, and it's just the generic adventure. But if it's like, let's just see the mundane guys in the midst of Star Wars, that I could buy. That I'd be in for. I don't want to see what John
if it's like a Kevin Smith spin on Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what
if
it's something like that? Again, like I'm saying, like the maintenance.
Again, my whole thing is just like I really want to see him do another cop car. I'm sorry, I'm hung
saying,
up
what
on
if
that.
This is his cop car though, but in space?
I don't buy that. This is not going to be his cop car. You're full of shit.
Well, remind me why you got to get aggressive. What's the?
Honestly, it's probably because of how much Succession I've been watching, and we'll get to that.
Well, remind me, is Cop Car like I haven't seen Cop? Is Cop Car like a mundane film, or is it like what is it?
It's literally the whole premise is two kids find a cop car in the middle of the woods and they steal it and go on a joyride.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this could be that, though. I mean, it could be they find a starship and they go around, find themselves in the midst of Star Wars.
So it's literally cop car.
I'm approximating, but with the
I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
But ultimately, I mean, if it is that sounds pretty cool, though.
We'll see what happens. I don't know.
I'm just saying that maybe let's wait until the trailer's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, speaking of trailers, let's pivot. My God, does Andor look boring?
Yeah, I agree, and I think I know why.
Good.
Honestly, Andor's for me is the first Star Wars where I'm just like, yeah, I'd be watching that one purely out of obligation if I watch it, that one, because I mean, all Andor has in his corner is what he brought to Rogue One, which I don't really need a series of, which is like the war side of Star Wars. I get the war side. If I don't really have like characters that really kind of, bring an extra
this honestly seems about as inspired as like an Infus Nest show or something of that. It's like the rebellion before the rebellion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean pretty much. Yeah, it's just not really much of a sell there. So that's unfortunate. I mean, here's the thing. I love the. I like Diego Luna, but I was like, hey, good for Diego. And when the thing was announced, I was like, hey, I like Diego Luna.
Honestly, the most, my biggest attachment to Cassian is that he was the main character of the Star Wars VR experience that I went to at Downtown Disney.
That's what I'm saying. So, the show's gonna like sink or swim on Cassian, but I don't know how much magnitude he's gonna have in a show.
I mean, this is my big problem with just media in general. Like all these big IPs, like let's give that guy a show and that guy a show. Everybody gets a show.
The problem is we should have given everybody shows earlier, not now.
Yeah, so I don't know. I am very checked out of Star Wars right now, as you know.
But you're all down for Willow, though. You're.
I fucking can't wait for Willow.
But I was the Willow.
It's the here's the thing, Dragon. I need to catch up on it, but I haven't even seen the first movie yet.
Neither have I.
And even as someone who hasn't seen the first movie, I see this trailer and I'm like, this looks like my shit, man.
It'd be an amazing meme.
What?
If you just had Warwick Davis say, but I was the Willow.
Okay, I knew that was I could see that from a mile. I was the Willow. Yeah, this show looks fucking incredible. I'm honestly like really stoked for Warwick Davis for this. It looks like just like his like a big chance for him to really shine and kind of like almost come full circle with his career. Yeah, I'm all over this, Dragon. I don't know. I don't have a bad thing to say about it. I need to see the original now.
Yeah, no, you do. I mean, I have not seen it myself either, but I read his book and he kind of talked about how very fondly working on Willow. So it was a big, huge kind of thing for him. Again, kind of the Ewoks paved the way to Willow. It was a big moment for him. All right,
we absolutely have to get Laura on when we talk about Willow.
Right. So, Visions season 2 is happening. It's. Yeah,
I need to. I feel like with Visions, what I'm going to do is I don't even know if I'm going to have the capacity to watch it all, but like I'll check out the episodes that intrigue me on a premise level.
Yeah, I hope they continue 2 of the episodes. I mean, they don't have to, but it'd be kind of nice if they continue the 9th Jedi and the last. Let's see, I think it's called the 9th Jedi and Lop and Ocho. Like those are the 2 that kind of seem sequel worthy if they were to continue it. But regardless, I mean, this whole anthology kind of approach with kind of like a Star Wars animatrix sort of thing is pretty cool.
All
right, so okay, let's see. That brings us to some Marvel news.
Okay.
Yeah, so real quick, it's official. Daredevil. They're doing a Daredevil show on Disney Plus. Now, assumedly, what this means, if I'm a betting man, what I'm hoping the end goal here is basically they announced showrunner, so it's very much, at least it's in development. So we know that Matt Murdock is going to be in She-Hulk. The size of the role we don't know. I've heard like a few episodes. I'm betting on 3, but I don't know. So Matt Murdock's been introduced slowly but surely since No Way Home and She-Hulk and Kingpin introduced in Hawkeye, and we're getting this Echo show, which is going to include both of them, both Daredevil and the Kingpin, which might be.
And the Echo show is honestly like the biggest my biggest kind of like hesitation with this show existing.
Well, Tiki, this is what I'm saying though. I imagine what I'm hoping is going to happen is like Echo is going to be okay. That's the reintroduction, so we know where we stand with Daredevil. Between like, okay, this is kind of where we stand. We're doing it via this Echo character who is kind of our bridge between the Disney Plus and kind of our Netflix stuff. Possibly.
Let me throw another question at you.
Yeah.
Do these have to be shows?
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm getting a little burnt out on MCU shows just in general. It's just like a lot of watch time, a lot of episodes. I don't really feel it. Like Dragon, you and I, we've had this conversation. Like even something like Moon Knight, which we were generally very enthusiastic about. You know, like MCU shows just have this thing where it's like they never stick to landing. And I just, frankly, I feel like if Daredevil's going to come back, I would be much more excited about it if it was a standalone movie, honestly.
Well, again, what I expect based on corporate thinking would be we're not going to, based on Daredevil doing so well in a serialized format as it had done on Netflix, I imagine he would just factor into an ensemble on screen before getting his own movie, and he would get a show that would basically kind of flesh him out. And maybe
I would also be more excited about this if it was like full-on Daredevil season 4.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't expect this to get a full-on continuation of season 4. What I expect and what I'm hoping for is for the Daredevil show to essentially, like, you know, Echo just tells us kind of where we are, and we kind of reset everybody up, and then just kind of to establish, you know, what, like, Kingpin's getting his sight back, I'm going to guess. Mm-hmm. And, you know, basically we establish, you know, it's probably going to be Daredevil trying to, you know, save her from the Kingpin or vice versa or what have you. Anyway, the Daredevil show is going to they're probably going the multiversal route, if I'm a betting man. Which essentially means that, okay, we're going to do the things that we weren't able to do in the Netflix show, and therefore necessitating us coming back and kind of doing our own spin-offs. And you're going to get Daredevil in like a new, like fully comic accurate suit with the 2Ds on it, Kingpin in the white, and be able to do kind of like some of the, basically just kind of like do things in kind of a fresher, kind of more comic booky flair.
Okay, I will give you this, okay? The more returning cast members from the Netflix show, the more excited I'm going to be, just generally speaking.
Which I think if they're smart, they're going to try and salvage as much as they can, but by the same token...
We need Foggy. At the very least, Dragon, if they recast Foggy, that's going to feel wrong.
Well, that's the thing. Tiki, what I think might happen is... in a perfect world, we're going to get as many of the... because we know all the cast would like to come back. We know they're all more than willing to come back. Now, them recasting Bullseye, I don't know, but I'm saying they could probably get Foggy and Karen.
I think those are the two you need. I think Bullseye, God, it's tricky just because Bullseye had such a good setup, right? It almost feel like a waste to throw away that setup.
Yes, and that's the thing though. Bullseye is going to be kind of the diverging point, because the characters like Bullseye and Elektra are the ones in which, well, we had a good take on them in the previous show.
I would actually be fine with a recast of Elektra, to be fair.
Okay, my point is a story has been told, with those characters that very much factored into the grand whole of the piece. So
right, I see what you're saying.
So by the same, basically, if we did this multiversal approach, that would give us fresh takes potentially, at the very least, on like, okay, we can do a full on Bullseye in the black and white suit and everything, and we can have like the Kingpin be able to hire him versus like Kingpin just broke his back. I don't think he's going to be like, hey, let me work for you.
That's totally fair. Totally fair.
So regardless, I'm just saying that, like, look, personally, in a perfect world,
you hate the devil. I hate the devil.
Now again, I'm in my heart of hearts, I would love to root for a Daredevil season 4, but I don't know how feasible.
No, I hear you logistically.
So regardless, I'm saying I think there's an in here. It would be a way of like, okay, if we don't bring back the supporting cast, what they're probably going to do is it'll be like a fresh, like Matt Murdock's bridging into superhero law. Ergo, maybe he and Foggy aren't working together because of that, or we're going to bring in some new characters. The Daredevil has done that at times in the comics, so it is possible they're going to be going that route. But again, I would like them to at least bring back Foggy and Karen as well. So
I will also throw in Punisher.
Well, that's the thing. I'm sure Bernthal is gonna come back, whether it's by proxy of Daredevil.
I really want him back in the MCU proper. Honestly, I feel like him in the MCU proper would be the kind of change up that the MCU needs.
Well, taking the three people we know are coming into the MCU, all but no. I mean, we got Daredevil, we got Punisher, and we have Jessica Jones. The word is Jessica Jones is pretty much like almost all but officially confirms the question where she's going to show up. I'm getting a sense it's not going to be She-Hulk, even though that'd be perfect.
It'd be perfect for her to be like, oh my god, like drinking buddies with She-Hulk, but plus She-Hulk's private eye.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it should be perfect, but I'm saying they like recently announced like, oh yeah, she's coming back. It makes me think, well, they probably shot She-Hulk already, so I don't think. So
I don't know. Honestly, never say never with the MCU as far as cameos go.
Imagine this though. Imagine if the way you bring back Jessica Jones is like if we did the Heroes for Hire show and she's married to Luke Cage.
If we did a Heroes for Hire, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm just saying that's, just with the iron fist of it all.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying though, Tiki. If they committed to that multiverse thing, it's like, okay, we're going to bring back who you like, then we're going to recast Iron Fist. There you
go. Sure. All right.
So again, this Daredevil, I'm excited that it's coming back, period, and we'll see how well it does.
Okay, so National Treasures 3 in the works, and all I can say is, yeah, please, it took long enough.
I concur. All right.
I mean, it's like, I'm not a huge National Treasure fan, but I feel like National Treasure is like a great, like, comfort food movie franchise, right?
I rather like National Treasure, honestly. I really,
I feel like they're not, I feel like they're almost kind of like the spiritual successor to the Mummy movies in a lot of ways.
I mean, yeah, a little less action, but yeah.
Just in the sense of like they're just, I don't know, just the vibe. I like it. I'm excited. I hope it's good.
Some of my favorite Nick Cage performances are in National Treasure, so I like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is all you, Dragon. Blue Beetle.
Okay, not a lot to report here. So just the Blue Beetle show, which is starring the actor from from Cobra Kai, played Miguel. He's playing Jaime Reyes, and they showed him in the suit, and he looks great.
Good casting.
Yeah, the suit looks good too. It'll kind of like give me kind of vibes of like kind of back in the day when they teased the Deadpool suit. Like, oh god, it looks like he stepped right off the page. That's really cool. And the biggest thing I'm really excited about, because a lot of people were unsure. Like I know our buddy Chris.R.Nut earlier. I meant to ask him this. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. I forgot to. So the maybe it wasn't announced by the time that happened. Jason Sudeikis is going to be playing Ted Kord, who was the original Blue Beetle. At least there's 3 Blue Beetles. The middle one is Ted Kord. That's the one everyone cares about. The one that inspired Night Owl and Watchmen. So the point being, he's kind of like the lighthearted Batman, if you will. What if Batman didn't have issues and just was like an inventor with a beetle gimmick? Essentially, that's Ted Kord. And Jason Sudeikis, who is killing it, and everyone loves him, and I am one of those people, loves him on Ted Lasso, playing the very likable and friendly Ted Kord. That's really cool. Now, I don't imagine they're probably going to kill off Ted Kord at some point in the movie, and he'll be like kind of a posthumous mentor of sorts, but they could keep him alive, though.
So he's like an Uncle Ben type.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm not a huge Blue Beetle guy, so I don't know if there are any versions of Ted Kord being alive and working like a Batman Beyond or Ant-Man dynamic. I don't know, because he could be a mentor to him, but then again, he could be just the guy who dies and he models himself after him. I don't know, but the point that Sudeikis is really good casting for the very likable character, so that's good. All right, so big news. I think we're all really excited about. Pixar announced what their next movie is going to be.
Yeah, I'm in theory I am excited about this. I just hope that I think the only thing I'm slightly worried about is that it has the potential to be a little bit derivative of like Soul and Inside Out, as far as like we're going to give kind of like, personalities to abstract concepts.
I'll admit it is. We're not exactly in a row, but we are kind of almost every other film we're doing the metaphysical, which it's not.
And you know me, Dragon. I mean, I Soul hit for a lot of people, but it was honestly like the more I think about Soul, the more I'm just kind of meh on it.
I mean, the art style looks really neat, and just the idea that the elements, like Earth, basically Earth, Earth, fire, water,
Pokemon,
air.
Essentially.
Oh yeah, or Avatar, but yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, the point is like it's kind of the elements that make up everything are they're basically. It's kind of this basically we're trying to see what the common connection of elements and kind of how it correlates to humanity. It's essentially what the gimmick is, which seems to be interesting. And they have like the main characters apparently are going to be Wade and Ember, Wade like a water and Ember like flame and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so Pete Sohn's doing this. Pete Sohn, who got his his break as a director on The Good Dinosaur, kind of like after they were kind of searching for other directors. And
I mean, hopefully this is like a more from the ground up project for him, because
it is.
like his style as far as the shorts go.
Yeah, from what I understand, this is Pete Sohn's concept from the ground up. So it's him doing this. Of course, he'd be story man extraordinaire.
Because
So
I don't want to like write the guy off like, oh, he did the Good Dinosaur. Well, it's gonna be mediocre then.
well, that's the thing. Good Dinosaur was was probably one of Pixar's most troubled productions. So by
Yes,
that
it
lot,
was. Yes, it was very much so.
so I mean, you kind of have to kind of bear that in mind with the whole director situation. But that's the thing is, I mean, Pete Sohn's always been a good story man. I mean, in Up, I mean, pretty much a lot of Up storyboards are Pete Sohn. All the Russell stuff, Up Russell himself is modeled after Pete Sohn. So I mean, there's a lot of Pete Sohn in the DNA of Up. So I don't know. This could be good. This could be interesting.
All right.
All right. So here's something. Yeah, here's something very very topical.
Yeah, Barry season 4. Very excited about it. I will admit, Dragon, I do hope that I don't with Barry, it's like as much as I am really enjoying season 3, there is kind of a sense of like, okay, like how much longer can they keep this up? Because the stakes are just getting ramped up like very, very high. You know what I mean?
My theory with Barry ultimately is that the end point of Barry is likely going to be him winning like an accolade and then maybe killing him off.
I could see that.
I mean, honestly, the vibe I get is that Barry, like so far, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, Barry ultimately is the idea that he is kind of born under a lucky star, and that like he keeps kind of getting away with things and basically kind of failing upward in the best of senses, and that ultimately again, if it was very just kind of like earnest acting, he'll probably win like an Emmy or not. Emmy would be the meta way to go, is him winning an Emmy. Basically the fact he's probably going to get away with it and like get away with all these horrific atrocities because Hollywood rewards that sort of thing. So I think that's ultimately where it's going. So I mean, it's a question of how long they want to keep that going. And I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say they could probably go to 5 seasons max, but they could end it at 4. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Here's something for me. Beavis and Butthead do the universe. Dragon, I am actually pretty excited about this one. The one thing I have is I heard there was a rumor a while back that the whole Beavis and Butthead thing was going to be like them in their 40s, which I would have fucking loved. That sounds amazing. But I do like that. I think this is kind of like a nice sort of like halfway, like, because you still get them as teenagers, but they're experiencing like the modern society, and there's going to be like, it seems like this movie is going to have like some fun time travel shenanigans, and there is at least one shot in the trailer that hints at an older Beavis and Butthead. So I got to tell you, Dragon, I think it's kind of underreported on this channel how much I love Beavis and Butthead and just Mike Judge animation in general. Well, outside of the good the Good Family or whatever he did. King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead, both top tier animated shows in my opinion, and I'm excited about this continuation. I think it looks pretty ambitious.
Okay.
All right, and lastly we have Pinocchio. Oh God, Dragon, I'm curious. What do you think of this?
I gotta be honest. I think it was a smart build-up that we still have not seen Pinocchio come alive in the marketing. I think I'm looking forward to it. There's one aspect I think in the trailer is just like one character direction is like, I don't know if that was a good move. The Blue Fairy. I'm not crazy about the Blue Fairy in this trailer.
How dare you? No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like really we're going for verisimilitude on every other aspect. Like Jiminy Cricket, I don't know. I think he's animated rather well if you're going to update that sort of thing. And I don't know. There's kind of like a personality.
I think the look of this movie just in general is, I'm not saying this is going to be a good movie or even a necessary movie, but at the very least, the visual style of this looks kind of head and shoulders above most of these Disney live action remakes.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stylistically, it looks really good. I mean, again, Tom Hanks always, like really throwing. Tom Hanks never dropping the ball. He's doing a good Geppetto. And yeah,
I think Tom Hanks is clearly like the reason to see this movie. Like, even if the rest of it sucks, he's going to be good.
I mean, ultimately, I think this Pinocchio movie is going to live or die by the dummy, by the boy, by the little wooden boy.
And honestly, I think the fact that we haven't seen him yet could either be like a very clever like build up in marketing or a very bad omen.
I mean, that's the thing. I love that what we have seen essentially is like a verbatim, like it's like basically it's like as perfectly off the page as you can get in terms of how this dummy looks to the original Pinocchio. We haven't seen a move yet, though. That's the trick.
Right.
He looks like this is like a perfect figure of the Pinocchio dummy you could bring into live action. Like give him white gloves and everything. So I don't know. We'll see. But no, the Blue Fairy just seems like why do we go so different with the Blue Fairy? I just don't get it. Like if we're gonna go verisimilitude on everything else, Blue Fairy, I'm just not getting any. I don't know. Seems like a weird choice.
All right, May 2022 movies.
Yes.
Dragon, I am so sick of talking about Multiverse of Madness. I'm so sick of hearing about Multiverse of Madness. It was a good film. It was not a top-tier Marvel movie. It was a good Marvel movie. It was one of the best directed Marvel movies. Some real standout sequences. I cannot see myself watching this from beginning to end. I think this is very much a movie that kind of lives and dies on its standalone set pieces, honestly.
Well, ultimately, I think this movie was a great Sam Raimi return to the superhero film. Just like him coming back, him having a lot of fun with it. I think a lot of that comes to the screen. It's really fun on the rewatch, dude. I'm going to tell you that much. Now, bear in mind, on the rewatch, I think it does become more apparent that, the Illuminati, while it's cool that we got those characters that we got, ultimately, it's like if you really look at it from a writing standpoint, it's like, they're a little too bullheaded here, and that the Illuminati's not really good at their jobs. And that kind of shows. And Captain Marvel, basically, we have a worse Captain Marvel than the existing Captain Marvel, which is not good. Maria Rambeau sucks as Captain Marvel, which that becomes like even more apparent on the rewatch. It's like, oh god, I gave her some credit. Like, oh, it's cool. We saw the mother as Captain Marvel, like she is in the comics. But like, man, she's really not doing a good job on the performance though. So that becomes that becomes apparent. But obviously, the big takeaway: Scarlet Witch, awesome. What we do with her, terrifyingly powerful. Really, we hit the nail there very well. And I don't know. It's ultimately I think it's a cool third act with a very memorable comeuppance for the Scarlet Witch. So I think we hit the right marks. I think we hit the horror vibe. I think again, Sam Raimi. I think
we hit the right marks. I think the problem is it was just kind of like a bumpy roadmap getting to those marks.
I mean, again, I think honestly,
looking at you, exposition pad.
It just, the exposition pad. You're right. The exposition pad not good. And again, just that Illuminati scene. As much as cool as it kind of is from a distance, when you really look at it up close, like we're basically we're spelling it out that Doctor Strange.
I clapped when I saw it. I clapped because I know who that is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
My point. You see. Basically, it's more of like you're not seeing the leaves for the trees, that whole thing where it's like, okay, I'm seeing like these really cool characters, but what they're saying is
it literally felt like a Hall H panel, Dragon.
Yeah, literally. That's saying you're basically spelling out that Doctor Strange is a danger to the multiverse. Well, yeah, but he's not the one like trying to tear everything up, getting to the girl.
Right.
You know the Scarlet Witch is coming, but you're not scared because you have Maria Rambeau in your corner. Like, ooh, she's your big, she's your big gun. I'm so scared. Yeah, her and her snarky attitude. She doesn't do jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but ultimately, it's Pizza Papa. What more can I say?
All right. So this was almost kind of like another Multiverse of Madness in a way. Rescue Rangers.
Well, you mean you're sick of talking about it?
No. I mean, just in the way it's like a big crossover with a ton of cameos.
Yeah. This was quite the surprise this month. This is a great surprise. It could have flopped very easily, but again,
I was not looking forward to it. I really wasn't.
I'm blatantly aware of that. Yeah. But I just love that they kind of mocked the cash in, which was a really aspired choice. And I'm proud Disney took that approach with let's not just do a cash in like, hey, Rescue Rangers, because everyone asked for that in live action on the big screen. Like, no, we're basically they sold you world building before they sold you Rescue Rangers, which ultimately was a good call. Because what more can they say of Rescue Rangers? Basically 22 minutes for 90 minutes. Like, really? Is that like for 100 minutes? What have you?
Looking at you, Bob's Burgers. Looking at you.
So ultimately, they made the right call. The world building with the bootlegging and the sweet Pete of it all was genius.
I honestly think people are not even giving the bootlegging thing enough credit. I think it's super clever.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's super dark too. And really, Dragon, the more I think about this movie, I really do think it is very much a spiritual successor to Roger Rabbit. I think that's the best way you can describe it.
I mean, it was a lot of Roger Rabbit in it, quite literally, and that Roger Rabbit is in a scene of this film.
Yeah, I honestly wish Roger Rabbit would have been in a bit more of it. I wish he would have been an actual character, but
then maybe you get too meta if he's talking about like a movie that blended like CG and animation together, because like that might be crossing the line in terms of how meta you can get.
But I mean, like as far as the meta jokes go, like, I feel like a lot of the cameos in this movie are done very tastefully. As far as like, like we have Ugly Sonic, who's a part of the plot. I feel like a lot of the times when the cameos pop up, they're at least making some sort of commentary on the animation. Like the different styles and whatnot. What's funny is that there's a coworker of mine at work who's actually blind, but he's a cartoon fan, and he was listening to the movie, and Dragon, he thought that Lumiere was Pepe Le Pew in the convention scene, and I'm like, you know what? That would have actually been an even more like relevant character to have in that scene.
It would have been. It might have been. Yeah.
It might have been a bridge too far as like, do we really want to highlight fucking Pepe Le Pew? But I don't know. I thought that was kind of like a funny observation. Anyways,
true, but Pepe Le Pew can touch money though.
Yeah, that's true.
Lumiere not so lucky. I really could have used that cash.
That line is honestly a little haunting.
I could have used that $5.
Like, doesn't that line just stick with you a little bit?
It does. I just brought it up. What do you think?
It's like, oh man, like Lumiere is hard up.
But I guess the fact that he was like on the top of his game in the 90s and
Ewan McGregor.
Like, what's next? He's gonna do like a French restaurant tie-in.
Oh my god!
Like, imagine he does
I wonder how the logistics in the Rescue Rangers universe works as far as like, because they have that whole thing with Baloo where Baloo is like back on top because of the Jungle Book, but like what's the deal with that? Why isn't Lumiere on top because of the Beauty and the Beast remake?
Well, because the remake didn't go as well as Jungle Book.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
I mean, ultimately, it's really funny though. Imagine this. Imagine that bit from Kidding when like all the puppets were used to cash in the second season.
Oh my god!
You had Ennui doing like the French bread sandwich, but you have Lumiere doing like a "Be a guest. Our prices are the best."
Oh my god! Jesus. All right. Okay, let's see what's next. We have Bob's Burgers. Okay, yeah, Dragon. It's literally a 90-minute episode of the show. Moving on. No, I'm kidding.
Which typically does happen. Well, historically, that has happened before.
Well, I mean, we'll get to a podcast that I want to do, Dragon, but I feel like the best, like, it's a tricky tightrope to walk, but it has been done. It has been done. Here's the thing with Bob's Burgers. I feel like they were so fucking close, and it's really frustrating. Bob's Burgers is a show that honestly prides itself in its music and its songs. This has 3 songs, 1 in each act. That doesn't help the feeling that it's literally 3 episodes stitched together. But Dragon, my God, the songs are actually really good. And if this would have committed more to being a musical, I really feel like that could have saved it. Like, and I'm not saying this is a bad movie. Like, I give this probably like a solid, maybe like a high 6, low 7. So it's good. It's very much in the good category. But I feel like one of the reasons why South Park is like very much in the god tier of this kind of genre is because they really went above and beyond making it a musical. And I don't know. Like, I just feel like that really sets the movie apart from the show. And I feel like, the show honestly feels like it's done more music related stuff than what the movie does. I just don't find the plot of this movie compelling. I really don't. It really doesn't feel like it warrants a big screen. Like, I love all the characters in Bob's Burgers, and the character writing is on point. It's nice to have all the voice actors. Obviously, I love me some Kristen Shaw. But yeah, I don't know, Dragon. It's just, I feel like okay, let me run down each of the 3 main kids' plot lines, all right? really quick, just to show how derivative this movie is. So Louise's whole plot is that at school she gets dared to climb on the monkey bars or something, and she gets called a baby, and she's like, "I'm not a baby. I'm gonna prove that I'm not a baby by solving this murder mystery." And I'm like, that is a really weak motivation for Louise, and Louise like generally like it feels out of character because I feel like her character wouldn't even give a shit about stuff like that. And then Gene's whole plot is literally he invents this napkin like instrument thing, and he's like wanting to play it and wanting to like, and it's nothing. It goes practically nowhere. And Tina is just lusting after Jimmy Jr., which is what she does in literally every episode. So yeah, Dragon, there's not a lot here as far as like the plot goes. Like the sinkhole, it's like, ooh, wow. So it's like a little bit more inconvenient for the guests to get to the burger place. That's not really that high of stakes. I will say Teddy shines in this movie. Teddy, if you have watched the show, he's kind of like the regular at Bob's Burgers. He's like the guy who shows up, so often. That
I know. He's the guy with the fisherman get up.
Right. Yeah. So he actually has a really good role. And his role is actually he kind of comes up with the idea of Bob's Burgers getting a food cart. And that's actually like that has some really good payoff to it. Other than him, though, everything else feels very derivative. It's like Bob and Linda are stressing about money. I already laid out the kids. I don't know, man. This movie it could have been something, but at the end of the day, I really hate to say this, but it's kind of like on the lower end of this, of the adaptation to the big screen style stuff. And I feel bad saying that. Because it's obvious with the animation in this looks great. Like I feel like they took a show with a very rough style and translated it to the big screen really well as far as like the lighting and stuff goes. Like I'd say it's on par with like a theatrical Class B Cuspo movie or something like that. But yeah, I don't know, man. Just as far as the plot goes, it's really like the plot to me. It's like just like a kind of just like a standard murder mystery, and there's just not really a whole lot to it.
Does H. John Benjamin does he write and direct? Like, is he a showrunner? Did he?
I don't think he is,
or he's just is he just the talent on that?
I think he's just the voice.
Okay.
I will give you this though, Dragon. The one thing to check out for this movie, Kevin Kline as the landlord gets a lot to do, and you'd love it.
Ooh.
Like, if anything, I'm sure there's going to be probably a YouTube compilation of his scenes. Just watch that, and you'll be good. All right.
You love me some Kevin Kline.
Okay, let's see. What's up? What's up next?
Our Father, Tiki.
Oh, Our Father, right. Oh, my God, I forgot about that, and I watched it, too, and I forgot to put it on my list. I'm sorry.
Tiki, I can't believe you forgot Our Father.
Okay, well, to be fair, I kind of it's kind of one of those things where I wanted to forget it because it's honestly like kind of a traumatizing movie.
You're just making a bad joke, all right? The title. You
no, seriously though, this movie's fucked up, man.
Yes, it is. So this this is a staggering documentary. Again, honestly, the only thing that's really keeping the lights on at Netflix outside of Stranger Things, which we'll get to, it's their documentaries.
Yeah, and I think that Netflix honestly has some legit I'm legitimately morally concerned about how much they're profiting off of true crime, but whatever, that's a different conversation. Yeah. I think this is a good one. I don't think it's quite as good as An American Murder. Is that what it's called?
I believe so, yeah.
That one was like a found footage horror movie in real life. Like, that knocked my socks off. But but this is I think the thing that really works in this movie as far as editing goes, I think some things don't work with editing. Like, I think this movie has a few too many reenactments, honestly, if I'm nitpicking. But the thing that really does work with the editing is that counter.
Well, didn't Three Identical Strangers have some reenactment stuff too?
It did, and honestly, I could nitpick that in Three Identical Strangers as well.
That was a really good scene, the way they did that though in Three Identical Strangers, when they have the big umbrella moment. The guy goes back to his umbrella and he overhears the big thing. Like that, you kind of need a reenactment for. That was dramatically interesting. That's what I'm saying. I make the same.
Like argument. I said, Jay, it's more of like a style thing, it's a taste thing. But don't you agree though that counter in the movie, like this movie would not be nearly as effective without that
ticking
counter.
Clock is the wrong word, but there again, it's it being the counter that it is.
And I just love the whole Dragon. The moment that really sunk it for me was when they're talking about like how they have to warn their kids about who they date.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, oh this is fucked.
Yeah,
this is so fucked.
That is a terrifying concept. Just
I don't even want to repeat the concept. If you've seen the movie, you know.
I mean, so essentially, here's the thing that I really found fascinating about the movie: is the fact that you had almost like this demented family dinner-esque kind of scene once they all kind of came together, and they were basically kind of. If I recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, weren't some of them like in defense of him, like because again, he is technically their father. And there's like sort of like
I don't recall any of them.
I could have sworn there was like two out of the many that were like in his camp.
I mean, you could be right, but I don't.
Well, point being is the fact that it's such a screwed up situation. They all have like somewhat of like there's an odd moral thing in the Doctor. The point being, the Doctor himself, for what he did, he's basically clinging on to like a moral thing. Well, they needed material, so I provided it. It's which again, I mean, the real interesting thing about this is just the fact that there's that loophole that kind of like it's just that demented loophole of like, well, it's technically not against the law what he did, like in that place, and that's the staggering thing to me more so is the counter.
Sure.
So just a fascinating documentary, very well made, I felt.
All right. Okay, next up for me is Emergency. Dragon, have you heard of this by any chance?
No, but one last thing about Our Father.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Should have been delayed a month, though.
For Father? Oh, no.
It should have come out on Father's Day.
Oh, dear God. That's awful.
But it's kind of perfect, though. That's like the one
twisted, man. That is twisted.
What's the one nitpick I really have? Seriously, that should have come out in June.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All right.
Why not?
Okay. Dragon,
It's demented, but it's on theme.
All right, I hear you.
All right, go on. So, what is Emergency anyway?
Emergency. Honestly, it's like I'm mixed with this movie. I'm very mixed on it. The basic premise is that two black college students who are about to have like a marathon party night before they graduate, basically like have you ever seen the Edgar Wright movie, The World's End?
Is that the one where they're going to all the pubs?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I saw that trailer intrigued me, but I didn't get to it. But actually, now you bring up the premise of Emergency. I think I read a little bit of this. Yeah. So
so it's essentially that. Like that's what they're going for. But then when they're going back to their dorm to get ready for the night, they find a drunk white girl passed out on their couch, and shenanigans ensue. And honestly, Dragon, that's kind of like my problem with this movie is that I feel like this movie would have been a lot more potent if it wasn't a comedy, because I feel like the situation is fucked and they do get into the social elements of it. And I do feel like this movie has an ending that really lands. Like basically like when it gets to like the last 10 minutes or so, that's when all the intrigue of this concept, like, because basically the whole idea of this movie is like they're weighing the pros and cons on whether to call the cops because they know how the situation will look to the cops, especially because they're two young black men. You know what I mean?
It sounds like a cross between Get Out and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's kind of what it sounds like.
I would more. It definitely has Get Out vibes. I would more equate it to Get Out, and I was having vibes of Superbad, honestly.
Okay.
And honestly, that's not a great combination. It's just Dragon. This movie is very much a tone issue kind of movie for me. I feel like I've been a little bit more forgiving of the tone thing, but this movie really has it, man. I mean, there's like some very, very broad comedy in here that does not work, but also some very, very sharp Jordan Peele-esque social satire that really lands, specifically in the last 10 minutes or so. I think the last shot of this movie is honestly really powerful. But yeah, the broad comedy really brings it down for me. There's a whole plot line in this movie where the drunk girl's sister is trying to track her on her phone with some friends. Dragon, that whole thing could have been cut out because it's where most of the broad comedy comes from. I feel like all the characters in that plot don't really add much to the movie. Like that whole plot could have been cut, and the movie would have been better for it. The movie would have, like, I really feel like this movie would have kind of lived and died by its suspense, and it did not play up the suspense element like it could have. So, really good premise and some great social commentary at the end. Just a very mixed bag of a film overall, which is kind of disappointing, unfortunately. All right.
Okay, let me tell you about the Valet.
Let me hear about the Valet.
So the Valet, this was a very pleasant surprise. I gotta be honest, I did not expect this to be as good as it was. I thought it was gonna be kind of like the kind of a place filler sort of thing. Okay, well, I need a movie to kind of bump things up because I didn't really.
The next movie I'm going to talk about is definitely that.
So that's kind of what I thought this was going to be. Like, okay, I just need kind of like a probable, in all likelihood, a forgettable Hulu comedy. Which with a title like The Valet, I didn't really have like, okay, let's see what it is. It has like a very rom-com-y premise, but while it is a rom-com, it's not like it's kind of like a rom-com in the best sense of the word, in that there's a lot of heart here, man. It's very down to earth. You have this valet, Antonio, I believe, Mexican American. You have Antonio, who he's not like a young man. He's just kind of like a guy probably kind of in the middle age. So Antonio here, he's basically paid to help cover up a celebrity scandal by pretending to be the celebrity actress's boyfriend. Because the idea is basically he was spotted during these two people who shouldn't be having an affair, and he was there. So, oh no, I wasn't with him. I was with my boyfriend here, the valet. So she has to keep up appearances, and it's kind of like a PR coordinated sort of thing. And just have this regular kind of average Joe guy, he's very, anyway. So just this, kind of like an immigrant sort of thing. And the idea is he kind of becomes like the inspiration to kind of immigrants and kind of like the menial jobs everywhere here, where it's like all the other valets are just insanely jealous of him. You're dating that hot actress, man.
That's funny.
It's like every place he goes,
like a nice little comfort movie.
That's the thing, Tiki. This is absolutely a comfort movie.
Totally, yeah.
In that regard, so it's kind of a classic rom-com in that premise, but it's got a lot of there's a little bit of sweetness there. It's the fact that this guy Antonio is just chock full of earnestness and integrity, where he's a real salt of the earth kind of guy. He's not playing it cool though. He's just like he's very freaked out by the publicity of it all. He's just kind of going along with it, and he's kind of botching things along the way. We have a Breaking Bad alumni in the movie, Betsy Brandt. She plays
nice.
She plays the adulterer, the guy, and basically the billionaire is a billionaire and an actress. So the billionaire's wife is Betsy Brandt, who's being cheated on, but she doesn't know it. So she suspects it, though. Anyways, she's in it. Not wearing enough purple for my taste, but she's in it. And also, they have bits in here like unconventional. Like Antonia's mother is having a relationship with kind of like her Asian neighbor, and it's kind of a really sweet dynamic. Mr. Kim. It's like it's Antonia's mom and Mr. Kim.
That's nice.
He's like a handyman for. I think he's like the landlord for the building or what. But he's just kind of like this nice guy. Kind of like goes by, helps her out. I don't know. It's just really, it's nice. It's got a lot of good stuff kind of at the center of it. I do wish. The only hesitation I have with the movie, it's not a problem at all. It's just like kind of in retrospect when you look back on it, I wish we had gotten a bigger name actress to be the actress in the film, because it's like it would have been kind of add like a meta contextual element to the film. I think if we just kind of cast like an actress that we would recognize, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe it kind of adds to the anonymity of it all. I don't know. The point being, it was surprisingly good.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna say this real quick. There's a standout scene in the movie. I'm just genuinely moved by the scene with the lawyer in the car. I will say that much for it. It's a great scene with Antonio and the rich guy's lawyer in the car. It's a beautiful scene, just so superbly acted. It's beautiful.
Okay.
All
right, so Dragon, let me tell you about men.
I gotta say it intense, Tiki. Let me tell you about men.
I have concocted the most evil creature in all of existence. It turns out it's man.
Pretty much.
That's literally this movie.
So it's
God, this movie.
Guys who shoot Bambi's mom.
This movie, dude. This fucking movie. Oh God, I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe it.
Well, it's a crazy guy with men stamped across his forehead. That's how they described it.
No, Dragon, this dude, this actor, literally plays every male role in the movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
You
see?
mean like a split personality, or like he's literally playing every guy?
Is it? Okay, well, let me describe the... So, first of all, this movie is directed by Alex Garland, who did Ex Machina, and so that's, like, the reason I was excited about it. But, holy hell, this is not Ex Machina, man! Okay, so the main character is a woman who her husband just committed suicide. And essentially the whole metaphor for her seeing the different actor playing different roles is it's kind of like the movie's kind of like a meditation on like toxic masculinity and like, you know, like how women who have been abused by men see men in general, if that makes sense. Like how like she's seen the same guy over and over again, right? She's seen the same face. And so what I equate it to, what I read it as is kind of like okay, like this one dude really hurt her, so now she's viewing all men as like, I don't know. This movie is like it's got its head so far up its own ass. It's not even funny, Dragon. I kind of hated this movie, if I'm being frank. This movie is literally just like, look how bad all men are, and like there's some scenes that are visually interesting. The cinematography is good. The performances are good. Dragon, the ending is bananas. Just bananas. It's crazier than a banana split, Dragon. It is pure unadulterated insanity. It's fucking wild. I literally cannot even begin to describe it to you, Dragon. You just have to look it up on Wikipedia or something if you're curious. It is fucking insane. Yeah, I did not have a good time with this one. I mean, normally I'm open-minded to like auteur filmmaking and like, you know, like giving the director creative control and everything, but Dragon, to quote George Lucas, all I can think about when I watch this movie is Alex Garland just sitting in a room and being like, I may have gone a little too far in a few places, because my God, this movie is just fucked. It's yeah, I did not like it at all. All right, but I did like the TV that I watched, Dragon. I'm very excited to get into this. So yes. Let's start with the big ones. Stranger Things season 4, part 1. Now, Dragon, we're going to do a Stranger Things season 4 breakdown once the other 2 episodes come out. But overall, how are you feeling about season 4?
Well, outside of irritated how we split them up, just given like we're only 2 away. Really, we're gonna end it here. We're not gonna. Like...
I think the only reason they did that is just because the next episode. I think the finale is like 2.5 hours.
I mean, yeah, I think the real reason is they, you know, they're just trying to stretch like people's interest in Netflix a little bit longer.
Well, can you blame them? Stranger Things is like it's like. I feel like Netflix is like investing money into the fountain of youth to keep these kids so they can keep doing Stranger Things.
That's the thing. They have. Well, again, it has to end at season 5. It's ending
at season 5. They've already announced that.
Yeah, that's the thing. So Netflix is going to be sweating after season 5.
Oh, they're going to be fucked.
Because everyone's going to unsubscribe after season 5. Anyway, yeah, so again, this is the long-anticipated penultimate season. I think the storytelling sharpened a bit more than it was in last season. I think it's gotten really good here. I like, you know, we check in with this half. We check in with everyone's stories. You know, stories are kind of building to kind of a crossover nexus as it kind of progresses and goes on. They all kind of like. But again,
I think my only nitpick with the stories is that I felt like the California crew wasn't really like. I didn't really feel like the gears were turning on that story all that much.
Well, I feel a few cast members are getting the shaft, but not necessarily. I think one storyline got the shaft, and then maybe a few characters interspatially. So Lucas kind of gets the shaft here. I think him and like, we got Avenge the Girl plot.
I don't necessarily agree with that, just because Lucas did shine in episode 4, and episode 4 is the one that everyone is saying is the best
Well,
episode.
it's not necessarily that Lucas is dropping the ball. I just think the whole like the rest of the I don't know. It's like it just
I
seems a
got to
little
be
more.
honest with you, Dragon. I was kind of compelled by Lucas's story with the, with like kind of like going along with the witch hunt and then kind of having to decide, his popularity or his. I don't know. I like that.
I don't know.
Stuff.
It's just the witch hunt itself. I mean, again, I like what we're doing.
Okay, the witch hunt I actually really liked because I love how they played with the whole idea of D&D being like a satanic thing.
Yeah.
It is exaggerated for sure, but I still think it's honestly, Dragon, that itself, I think is one of the cleverest 80s pulls that the show's done.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's see that, and I think Will's just kind of like he's just kind of there.
I mean, it's par for the course.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
I feel bad for that actor.
Yeah, Mitch Charlie Brown, man.
Yeah. What's he painting, Dragon?
No idea.
I because that's literally the only thing that's hanging on. It's the what's he painting, and it's the whole like he's gay for Mike thing.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think he's trying to come out to Mike, but that's the.
I think Mike really got the shaft, like bad.
Well,
he was kind of like a shitty boyfriend to 11, and that's about it.
Well, I mean, she did beam a girl, though. I mean, it's.
No, I'm just saying, just in general.
I don't know that in general. I mean, he's been. I don't know. I don't know.
I will say that all the stuff with 11 Dragon, genuinely kind of fucking traumatic.
So that's the thing. I think we hit some really great story strides, but this is the season we're answering a lot of stuff, and I think we've done that really well.
I mean, I'm just saying the stuff with 11, like that bully Dragon. I'm gonna say this much: that bully, all the bullying stuff in the beginning of the season, Dragon, it hit a chord with me. Like that is the closest I have seen depicted to what my real life bullying hell story.
Let me guess, it was the whole technicality during the presentation that got you.
What do you mean?
The whole, like during she's giving a little presentation and the girl's obnoxiously, like, kind of raising her hand, like, I'm sorry, I thought we were supposed to do historical figures.
No, that didn't get me. It was honestly the shit at the roller rink. I don't want to get into personal details, but let's just say something similar to that happened to me.
Oh, okay.
Especially like the group mob mentality of the situation with the one ringleader.
Gotcha.
But
ringleader. Get
it. But seriously, man, she was just such a little shit. Oh my god.
I would have hit her a second time, honestly. That's just me, though. But
what do you think of the Hopper stuff? Because I was a little mixed on it.
I love the Hopper stuff.
Really?
Man. Yeah, I really liked it.
You loved it. Okay. I mean, I liked parts of it. I just thought Dragon, my whole thing with the Hopper stuff is like once we have that episode where he breaks out and then he gets recaptured, I mean, I feel like they should have introduced the Demigorgon earlier than they did. That's one thing.
Well, I mean, I can't. Well, again, it's really weird because of the way they split up. Because a part of me feels like, well, if they're going to do a break, like if they're going to break it up and have like the last two be separate intentionally, which I do not think is the case.
But I'm just saying, like the first few episodes, it's just kind of like, all right, he's in prison and he's in prison. It's, I don't know. I think Murray is a fucking MVP. Like it's crazy how that guy's kind of coming to his own.
Yeah, Burt Gilton, man.
I think all of the high school kids are great this season. I mean, Steve continues to be my guy.
Yep.
Love and Robin. I just think all of the characters are just very like this is a show where I kind of told you this before, Dragon, but it's like I'm very hot and cold with the show, and I think it's kind of like the byproduct of it just being like such a binge culture show, right? Where when I am watching it, I am very into it. I'm just like, oh, I love all these characters. This is so cool. But then it's just like, I don't know. I just wish there was a little bit more substance behind it all, as far as like the overarching plot. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes. I do think the characters in the show are very much stretched thin. And honestly, I heard a quote from the Duffer Brothers that has me a little bit worried where it's like they don't, this isn't like a direct quote, but like I don't know what the direct quote is, but I heard that they are not a fan of killing off characters. And I'm like, dude, this is the time where you need to be killing off characters. This cast needs to be thinned.
Well, I don't think they're in this. I don't think they necessarily want to kill children, but
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I guess.
Well, the main children, not like victim children. Not.
Look, I'm saying if Steve doesn't die from the whole rabies thing, I feel like I don't know.
Honestly, here's the thing. I really thought he was just going to die when he was attacked. I didn't expect him to live.
But they're dwelling on the rabies thing, so I have a feeling that he's going to have some sort of big sacrificial moment in the final episode.
Well, do you think there's any way he becomes like the big bad guy?
That's what I'm saying. I think he maybe I don't know.
Well, no, I don't mean turn villain. I mean, will he become?
No. I know what you mean. By the way, that whole thing. Yeah. My God, what an exposition dump at the end. I mean, that kind of turned me off a little bit. I will admit.
Honestly, I was kind of hoping for this sort of thing in Stranger Things, putting a face to the upside down.
I really like the character.
Yeah.
I really like the villain. I really like I like the character a lot more when he was just kind of like a Freddy Krueger type, Lovecraftian villain.
Oh yeah.
Dragon, I'm just the one thing. It's like, you caught me monologuing, you sly dog, you. It's like. I just don't like the way that it was just such a big exposition dump. It's not even against the character. It's just against the way that they, the way that they structured that. It's literally the last 20-ish minutes of the finale was just that. I don't know.
Well, again, they were tying up the loose ends, and I believe 11, they do the thing with 11 during that moment, so it's kind of big.
And I think the 11 reveals are cool, but yeah. Anyways.
Anyway. All right.
Okay, so Better Call Saul, Season 6, Part 1, a.k.a. Don't Ever Doubt the Albuquerque Verse.
I kept telling you.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, so Part 1, very much, I think, thematically...
You think they're dragging their wheels, but then literally the whole thing is going to come tumbling down like the most perfectly constructed house of cards ever, and you're going to fucking love it.
Yep. Oh yeah, so true.
Go ahead.
So yeah, Part 1 very much closing the book. It has very much a closing the book tone. It's like we're starting to close up shop on the Jimmy McGill story, and that we pretty much see the end of Jimmy McGill in the first half. And essentially, we've sanded away. So all that's left is basically his path for Breaking Bad, and
he's more machine now than man.
So he's more lawyer now than human. So yeah, it's basically we've sanded the last of Jim McGill away, so all that's left for him is the Breaking Bad era to come, which is going to pass once we come back from break. I'm sure. Basically, we're going to facilitate into that. So yeah, the opening of the season I remember being very moving. Still, just like the way we open with the Andy Williams of it all.
Yes, but I mean, I'm just the only thing I'm worried about with that is just I hope they have stuff planned for Gene in later on in the season.
Oh, I'm sure they do. It's a question of how extensive it's going to be. Here's if I were you, Tiki, I would not bank. If it happens, enjoy it, but I would not bank on 3 episodes of Gene at this point. I'm
not banking. I'm hardly banking on 1 full episode of Gene.
I think we are going to get a full episode of Gene. I think the last episode is going to be Gene. That I do think. I just think we're going to I already laid out my breakdown. I don't want to really do it here, but essentially, yeah, I'm thinking. Well, I'm thinking the last 3 episodes is going to be the full Breaking Bad, and then take us to the Gene ultimately. So,
sure.
Yes, of course, the mid-season was very appropriate. That's a mid-season for you. That's where you break it into right there. Tony Dalton, chilling, so chilling as Lalo. Never has man. Yes, never has anyone feared a mustache more. It's so funny. We have the most terrifying.
By the way, Dragon, it was fucking yesterday that I found out that Hans Conried voiced Snidely Whiplash, and I still feel dumb about that.
Isn't it so funny that we have such a terrifying mustache in Better Call Saul? Yet we had such a comedic mustache with the whole Casemiro affair.
Oh my god! Oh god! Right.
You want to get all symbolic? They drew a mustache on the board for Casemiro, but had they known, the mustache it came for them.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, so Working Mom, season 6.
Yeah, so I've mentioned pretty much the other seasons of this before. Yeah, I really like this show. It's I believe it's a Canadian show that they eventually put on Netflix after it airs in Canada. Catherine Reitman, Ivan Reitman's daughter. She stars in the show. And it's her baby. There's a lot of like life imitating art in the show. So it's into its 6th season, and of course they premiered it this month for Mother's Day, very appropriately. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing. They wrote out one of the mainstay characters, which ultimately I think was for a good call, because that character, I mean, when you really think about it, like, yeah, they kind of, there's not a whole lot to her. She's kind of the mess of the group, and it's like, well, she's, what more are we going to do with her? Just like put her in another mess, like,
Uh-huh.
So Frankie's out of it, and they kind of put like a new. They made a really interesting choice with how they filled that role, though. They took kind of the bad guy, essentially, kind of the character who became a bad guy last season, like essentially Catherine's big client, like her big boss, essentially, who basically Kate, the Catherine Reitman character, she kind of screwed her over last season, ergo becoming her enemy now, and they kind of start off that place in the season, but she gets redeemed and becomes one of the gang. Which was really interesting. And she has like a really delightful love story that happens in the season, which is like she kind of has a meet cute with a guy, and basically she's been trying to get pregnant during the season. It's really, really good stuff. Now, yeah, let's see. So there's this other mom that they kind of like sporadically include into the show. I've always had kind of issues with. Who, I mean, she's there, and I think they did the best they could with her. Jenny, who basically is kind of like the selfish, bratty mom of the bunch. So I think she's getting better. I think by this point they kind of know how to write that character, and she makes kind of like we're acknowledging that she's making bad choices, but that's kind of the point. The big thing to mention, the big crux of this season, which I don't know if you're going to find interesting or not, is that I was unsure. They have like a big status quo shift that they teased at the end of last season as the crux of this season, where the husband has a love child with like an old girlfriend they had no idea about, Nathan Jr. So Nathan Jr. shows up, and it's because his mother's died, and has to warm up to Kate. He does like the typical teenager thing where he's making an enemy out of the new stepmom, and she's got to deal with that. And there's kind of like an arc there. It's a really interesting arc where he eventually kind of comes around on her. Actually, I did not think it was going to win me over. I thought, oh, man, I'm going to hate this kid. It's going to stink up the whole season, but it kind of wins you over. So yeah,
cool. All right, Dragon. I watched Amphibia. And I love it. I fucking love Amphibia. Dragon, this is very much in the mold of like a Gravity Falls, Star Wars Force of Evil type of show. It's just basically like a teenage girl gets magically transported to a magical world of frogs, anthropomorphic frogs, and insects and bugs. It's so much better than it sounds. Oh my god, Dragon. I really think the strength of this show lies in the character writing, because the characters on the show are so well developed. Basically, you have a grandfather frog, and then like a rebellious Bart Simpson type boy, and like kind of like a another kind of like rebellious tomboyish pollywog. And Dragon, reason to watch this show, absolutely 100%, is Bill Farmer as the grandpa, and the grandpa's name, you're gonna love this, I think, is Hop Pop. And Dragon, oh my god, Bill Farmer is amazing. Just every fucking line he has is just incredible. I like it. His comedic timing is so on point, and also he sounds nothing like Goofy. Like it's very much a distinct performance for him. Like, yeah. It's so good. I also really love the Bart Simpson style main boy character Sprig. I think he has a really fun kind of like brother sister dynamic with the main girl character. The tadpole character I feel like is a little underdeveloped in season 1. I feel like she'll get more developed as it goes on. Also, our boy, why am I blanking on his name? God, now I feel embarrassed. Fuchs.
Stephen Root.
Yeah, thank you. Stephen Root's in it in a supporting role. So Dragon, I honestly feel like the first season is very kind of like sitcom inspired. Like, it's very much like kind of like a cartoon or something like that, where it's just, there's just kind of like a situation of the week sort of stuff. And then it kind of gets a little bit serialized towards the back half of the season. And I got to admit, the serialization in the show, I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it, just because I feel like this is very much a comfort comedy show where a lot of the charm is just seeing these characters interact with each other in kind of like laid back situations. And so, like, I know that the show gets super serious and super dark. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit worried about how that's going to develop going forward, just because I'm like, the reason why I haven't really gotten into the Owl House that much is because the Owl House really reminded me of Star vs. Force of Evil. And I'm like, no, that show started out with such promise, but it went downhill so fast. But I don't know. I've heard that Amphibious season 3 is by far the best season, so I'm excited to keep going with it. And like I said, Dragon, my God, Bill Farmer is hot pop. Like, if anything else, just look up a best of Bill Farmer on Amphibia compilation, if anything else. So, all right.
Okay. So Hot Pop's that good, eh?
He's amazing. He's genuinely one of my favorite, like, animated Disney TV show characters ever, honestly.
Okay. All right, let me tell you about Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 3. Not a lot to tell here. This is, you remember, Love, Death, and Robots is like Tim Miller's Blur Studios affiliated, like a shorts program, kind of a little like the Animatrix, just like basically no short, really the same animation style. Like you can have CG, but it's very, different. Anyway, so I gotta admit, so I've really liked the entries in the previous 2 volumes. Volume 3, not their best lineup. Kind of fell a little short. Surprisingly, I did not know about this. Apparently, past seasons have won Emmys, though. So yeah, the show's been getting some notice, which is good. It's got fantastic talent on it. I'll tell you that much. Unfortunately, I mean, for me, ultimately, it's like there are 9 episodes this volume, and only 4 of them really stand out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the 2 ones you should watch. Okay, the one you really should watch. It's a very Rick and Morty-esque one. It's called Mason's Rats. It stars Craig Ferguson playing a really fun Scottish character who's just trying to get rid of these rats, and essentially what happens is very Rick and Morty-esque.
Oh, nice.
It's delightful, which is really good. It's so funny because I finished reading a book on Craig Ferguson like right before I watched it, so it wasn't like the perfect move for, oh my God, I know that voice, Craig Ferguson. And the other one, the one that you're really going to like, it's called Bad Traveling. Now, this one's David Fincher produces on the show, so he directed this one as well. So David Fincher did it's kind of a CG sort of like.
Is this Fincher directed?
Yeah, Fincher directed this. Yeah,
oh, nice. Okay.
So again, he's produced on the show, but I think he's produced on the show since the beginning. But I don't know if he's directed other episodes, but this is one he absolutely directed. Though it's kind of like the Black Freighter, in that there's like kind of like a Lovecraftian. It's kind of like a Lovecraftian kind of Odyssey voyage sort of thing. It's kind of a survival tale. Essentially, there's like this Cthulhu-esque kind of like monster on board the ship that they have to placate, and you have like one of the basically like a ship full of meals that have to figure out how do we not get killed by this thing. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Okay. Dragon Succession.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god.
It's not any good, right?
It's amazing.
I know. I was wondering, all those oh my gods would have been really amazing. Like, oh man, he really didn't like it. He's going to say that. So what's the deal with Succession? What is it?
Okay, so you've heard all the hype about it, and I'm willing to bet that at face value, the premise doesn't sound that intriguing. It really did it to me. So basically, the elevator pitch for this show is in the first episode, it's this family that runs this corporation that's essentially Disney, because they're like kind of like a mixed multimedia company. So like there's one family member who's head of theme parks, one family member who's head of like the streaming and multimedia, etc. So it's essentially a mirror image of Disney, the Disney Corporation to a certain extent. Basically like the Disney Corporation if the Disney family stayed in power. Think of it that way, right? And so in the first episode, about halfway through the first episode, the father, the head of the company, has a stroke. And holy shit, Shit hits the fan. Literally everyone in the family starts jockeying for the position of successor. And oh my god, the rest of the show is just like a just drama city from there, and it's absolutely goddamn captivating. Dragon, it's absolutely a show where it's just people in rooms talking, but just it, all these people are just they are such backstabbers. It's very much a show where it's like, they're all pieces of shit, but you are so compelled. I've got a couple notes on this thing. Number one, the main character is basically Ward Beecham, and I love it. He's like the problem child who's trying to keep shit together. He's trying to steer the ship, but doing a terrible job at it. Kieran Colkin is a huge standout in this show. Kieran Colkin, obviously Wallace from Scott Pilgrim, among other things.
Colkin, yeah.
Yeah. He plays kind of like the aloof middle brother who's very much kind of like the troublemaker, shit disturber of the family. Basically, every time you're on screen, you're just like, oh my god, that guy is such a piece of shit. Let's see. Brian Cox plays the father, and the really intriguing thing about Brian Cox's performance is that he's playing the father like post-stroke, right? And you never know how much of his performance he's really out of it, or how much of his performance he's just acting out of it, if that makes sense.
No, I get it. Yeah, just question like he's just feeling out the kids, or is he?
Right. And it's such an intriguing dynamic, and the show never tells you outright. Oh my god! Oh, this show's so amazing. I love this show. I'm sorry, I'm gushing about it. Dragon,
this is what it feels like to like stuff.
I know, right? There's this dynamic between this cousin who gets brought in, essentially, like his grandfather is Brian Cox's brother. So he's kind of like, it's kind of like the nepotism thing where he gets brought into the company, but he doesn't really deserve to be there. But he's like the most compelling part of the show because he's like the audience surrogate, right? Like he's trying to climb the corporate ladder, even though he's in like way over his head. There's this guy who's like the husband of the main daughter of the family, who basically takes this kid, quote unquote, under his wing just to kind of like verbally abuse him and humiliate him and basically get him to do his dirty work. But the reason he's doing that is because he feels like he's being treated that way by other members of the family, and it's all just a shit show. Oh, I love the show. I know I'm not doing a good job of selling it. I'm just gushing about it. But okay, one other note I have to make: the cinematography is genius. Because what the cinematography does is it kind of feels like it's not found footage, but it kind of feels like the cameraman is its own character, because the cameraman is like it's a very freeform kind of handheld sort of style, which honestly I'm usually pretty mixed on, but this does it perfectly, because what it does is it allows the camera to kind of like wander and like zoom in on different characters' facial expressions. And, and reactions, and a lot of it is very nonverbal as far as the storytelling goes. It's basically like the whole show is kind of like hinged on these moments of like characters walking into scenes where other characters are plotting against them, and like Dragon, it's basically like he will remember the show. It's so good. It's so fucking good. It deserves all the hype. Like I'm saying, Dragon, like after Better Call Saul, you're gonna need something to watch, and this is a successor, pun intended. All right. Yeah, I cannot recommend this show enough. It's fucking amazing.
All right, let me tell you about George Carlin's American Dream.
I'm very much interested in this. I just didn't find the time for it.
Yeah, so this is on HBO Max. They basically, Judd Apatow, I believe, did another kind of comedian documentary like he did with Gary Shandling. Did kind of like a 2-part kind of covers everything sort of thing. I'll admit, I don't think it necessitates the the two-part thing as
That's kind of
well.
what I was worried about.
Well, no, it's not a bad thing because here's the thing: George Carlin did a lot of stuff. And there is a divide there, and the idea of George Carlin, he was very a little cleaner at the very beginning, and then obviously it's like the whole clean-shaven George Carlin to the bearded George Carlin. So it's kind of there for the whole two-part breakdown because basically the way it's framed is that he had to make a dramatic shift. So that's kind of where the break is, but it's the Shanling thing is a lot cleaner a break, and then Shanling has two big shows to his title, so one part is the one show, and the other part is the other show. Pretty simple. Anyway, but no, it's fascinating stuff though. George Carlin, very interesting guy. Of course, he was very much the Lenny Bruce of his time. It's like the comedian that really called out kind of like how we censor things unnecessarily and. Basically, he was just kind of the guy. He was kind of like the guy who, before Jerry Seinfeld, really, really kind of cultivated the whole "Did you ever notice this?" thing. And the idea is that George Carlin, he really kind of changed the comedy landscape. Just one with that, but mainly, with kind of like the whole cursing on stage and kind of challenging censorship to the point where, he. Again, kind of like a Lenny Bruce, it's sort of like he's pointing this out, and he's seeing what he can get away with. He's getting in trouble many a time for it, but he's blazing the trail. And at some point, fascinatingly, it's like, yeah, he changed the game so much he kind of became irrelevant. And there was a down period for him where everyone's like kind of doing his shtick now. Everyone's like using the 7 curse words like left and right. So what does George Carlin really bring into the fray? So he really had to dig deep, and he had to bring out a lot of stuff. Kind of bring back kind of like really coming back with like something no one else could match. And additionally, he's struggling with addiction, and he was using cocaine a lot. And it gave him heart problems, and his wife was an alcoholic, and the child, George Carlin's daughter, is very much the heart of the piece there. Where she was very much the peacemaker of things, and she kept her parents together, and they did actually work things through. There's a lot of good stuff there. It was also Kevin Smith. He factors into part 2. I wish the biggest thing I was hoping for in the documentary, and it's there. I just wish it was more like I don't believe they show anything from Jersey Girl, which kind of bums me out. And they did mention this, though.
At the end of the day, that movie, like, I like that movie a lot, but it's kind of a footnote in his career at the end of the day.
What do you mean, Kevin Smith or George Carlin?
I mean, honestly, kind of both, but but mostly George Carlin.
I'm saying like George because like one of the I don't know if George Carlin really did any movies after that. I know he did Cars. I'm just trying to think he did like a movie, like a live action kind of affair after.
Oh.
Regardless, the Shining Time Station thing where he was Mr. Conductor, they addressed that, but I wish they spent more time on it. Because as a kid, like many, that was my in for him. That's how I like, wait a minute, you mean Mr. Conductor's like a comedian? And he's like, oh gosh, such a filthy comedian. Who knew?
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's definitely worth looking at, Tiki. It was it's a really, it's good stuff. It's Carlin. Everyone loves Carlin.
Cool. Okay, Smiling Friends. This show is honestly almost impossible to describe because it's literally just like nonsense a lot of the time, but it's good nonsense. It's structured nonsense. It's a very, very like everyone's kind of calling it like a spiritual successor to something like Rick and Morty, but kind of like this is like, and honestly, Drake, I agree because this is what Rick and Morty seasons 1 and 2 felt like as far as like. Every episode of this thing, it's very easy to binge. It's, I believe it's literally only 80 minutes long because it's 8 10-minute episodes. So this is like the length of like a very short feature film. But yeah, every episode just has such a great like wild premise. It kind of reminds me of something like Regular Show where it has like a kind of like a mundane premise that gets stretched to like, oh my God, how did we get here? So the premise of the show is that the Smiling Friends is a company where it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like they like to help people who are down on their luck, and they want to make them feel good. And I don't know the business model for what they do. Who knows? But there's the main characters. There's one who's super enthusiastic and gung-ho about the about the making people smile thing, and then the other one who's basically just he's there for the paycheck, essentially. Like, he'll do his job, he'll do his due diligence, but he's not really emotionally invested. And the dynamic between these two characters is just insane. I love it. They just bounce off of each other so well. A lot of the dialogue is very improvised. Mike Stokowska from, I think I'm saying that name right, from Red Letter Media, Plinkett.
Yeah.
He pops up in the first episode. He pops up as like the joke is like, oh, this little boy is sad on his birthday. We have to go cheer him up. And then it's literally just basically like an animated Mr. Plinkett. And literally throughout the whole episode, he's got a gun just pointed at his head, like threatening to kill himself. Like they're trying to take him to like amusement parks and stuff to cheer him up. And like while he's at the amusement park, he's just got the gun to his head. Like, oh God. I don't know, Dre. It's just like, I would recommend it, just if anything else, because I feel like it's got a fantastic Christmas episode and an even better Halloween episode. But like I said, it's 80 minutes. What do you got to lose? It's great comedy. I'm not selling it well, but that's just because it's so abstract. I was put off by the art style too. But I'm kind of just assuming you're put off by the art style. The art style isn't anything to write home about as far as like how it looks on paper, but seeing it in motion, there's actually some really cool stuff they do with it. It honestly kind of reminds me of something like The Amazing World of Gumball, as far as like how the animation kind of starts to blend like different multimedia styles and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, Joy, this is like a kind of like an impossible to describe show, but it's very, very, very much like the next big thing on Adult Swim for good reason. Like I absolutely understand the hype for this thing. It's kind of funny because Succession and Smiling Friends are both things that I've heard hype about for a while, and I got around to watching both of them. They couldn't be. I feel like they're both equally hard to sell to people. And they're on kind of like diametric opposite ends of each other, but they're both fantastic. All right, Dragon. Mr. Corman.
Oh boy, I'll tell you about Mr. Corman, Tiki. So sadly, it was like one of those.
Harvey Corman, I'm assuming.
No, well, there are two Cormans you're thinking of, and no, it's not either of them. It's not Harvey Corman or Roger Corman.
Okay.
No, it's just a guy named Corman.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, regardless. So yeah, this is the I don't know if you ever saw this advertised. This is the Joseph Gordon-Levitt show. It's on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, huh.
So Tiki, I know this is gonna make you envious. This is gonna be one of the things you have to track down because Tiki, this show is made for you, buddy.
Is it really?
Yeah, seriously. This show is great.
Why?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons actually. So, one, it's an A24 production.
Oh, god damn, that alone. Fuck.
So Joseph Gordon-Levitt, this is a real person. I'm assuming this is a real passion project for him because he wrote, directed, and wrote most of the episodes. It's his baby. He show ran it. This is like all Joseph Gordon. Tragically cut down after one season, but it's a jam-packed season, the 10 episodes. Each episode very distinct. I got to be honest. Each episode very much stands on its own. Sorry, I literally wrote my notes here. Made for Tiki. So essentially. So basically, he's a school teacher. He's a school teacher who had and kind of still has some lingering aspirations of being a musician. Regular guy. He does care about his students. Nice guy. It's the regular Joseph Gordon-Levitt charm that you'd expect. And basically, the show is him dealing with anxiety.
Oh,
he's dealing with anxiety, and he's trying, kind of life. In itself. He has a roommate. Roommate's a really cool guy, by the way, who gets his own episode. It's really nice. So there's like an episode called Mr. Morales. So his episode, it's kind of funny. Where it's like basically you track the roommate for an episode, see what his home life's like. And again, it's kind of slice of life, but there's like a really artful edge to it. And what they do is there's like a really great stylized visual thing they do in the series. There's kind of like a kidding vibe to the show, in a sense. It's kind of a Gondry touch to it.
Yeah.
Where they like, for example, like he has an episode where he's kind of dealing with his mother, and it kind of breaks into a musical for an ending of an episode.
Oh, that's fun.
Because Joseph Gordon-Levitt, again, the passion project, he can sing, hence the musical theme. Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's very down there. It's set in the San Fernando Valley. They really interestingly towards the end, I forget which episode mark it is. It's probably like around episode 7 or maybe 8. they tackle the pandemic. So they acknowledge, like, so the show's going on, and then pandemic hits, and he's doing, the whole school learning from home. He's teaching the class, from home, and the idea, he's suffering from anxiety and everything, so he's really worried about the pandemic. And he's kind of like, he's in a position where he thinks he's burdening. He's kind of, again, he's dealing with a lot of interesting kind of like things, very kind of Curb Your Enthusiasm without kind of like the
So
Larry
it basically
David
kind of sounds like everything is going to be okay, as far as like, it's not really the most compelling premise, but it's mostly like how they deal with the mental health side of things that's compelling.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like such an authenticity to it. It feels very grounded. It's like they handle it in a very grounded way.
Sure,
And again,
sure.
it's like it's funny. Don't get me wrong, it's a comedy, but it's kind of a comedy drama.
It sounds very similar to Everything's Going to Be Okay as far as the approach goes.
I mean, I suppose so. It's got unique visuals. Like there's a Halloween party episode that kind of breaks into a really stylized sequence, and that's the thing. It's kind of like and there's the thing that you're gonna love most. There's a runner that they explain in like either the last or the penultimate episode. Which, by the way, is probably that they have a guest star for for his father. I won't say who it is, but his father shows up, and they build to his father coming back. And there is this whole runner of his anxiety has a visual motif. Every time his anxiety hits, two things happen. You hear like a ding, like almost like a gong sound, but not like a big resonant, like a little ding. And you hear like that ding, and he sees a comet hurtling towards the Earth. It's about to wipe out all of humanity, like fireball coming down. So it's really interesting. Yeah, so I think it really, seriously, I think that you'd really like this show if you can track it down somehow.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to catch up. And Dragon, I'm going to warn you right now, I don't have a ton to say on a lot of these movies. So Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is pretty much literally exactly what I expected it to be. It's like, yeah, Jim Carrey is a lot of fun. Everything else is kind of meh. I got to say, I did not really care for Knuckles in this movie. And that's a big disappointment because I think Idris Elba is great casting. I'm just like, here's my thing with Knuckles, Dragon. This is kind of like I'm not even a Sonic fan, but like I'm certainly not a Sonic fan in like the internet sense of that word. But Knuckles used to be such a cool character when he was introduced, And I feel like throughout the last decade or so, Sonic, the franchise has gone out of its way to nerf Knuckles. And in this movie, like in Sonic Boom, he's just an idiot. And in this movie, they basically like Dragon, he's basically Drax. It's like it's just like the exact same kind of humor of like taking stuff literally. And it's like, okay, like this isn't really the Knuckles that I like. I like badass Knuckles. The human stuff in this movie really drags. There's a whole wedding subplot in the middle that I'm just like, why are we spending all this time on the human characters and this fucking wedding when it's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie? What is this? And it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And also, Dragon, I'm kind of getting on the same mindset as you in regards to what's his name? The voice actor for Sonic.
Ben Schwartz, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crazy, right?
No, you're not. Honestly, he is pretty one note as far as the performance goes.
I gotta be honest though, that's the thing. Sonic's like the one. Remember, like when the first movie came out, at least in the trailer, I never watched it. I was just watching the trailer. I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, he seems like a fine Sonic, but then he just kept appearing in other things and just kind of wearing me down. Like, oh god, I just can't stand this.
No, I feel you now.
Especially again, if you ever want to see Ben Schwartz at his worst, just watch the Space Force. I hate him in Space Force so much.
All right.
Never have.
So yeah, overall, this was just like kind of just okay, like it does not break the mold of like being a fantastic video game movie by any means.
Okay. All right. So Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. Mystery movie numero uno. You're going to like this. The Bad Guys.
Oh, okay. Cool. Nice.
Yeah,
I'm glad in theaters.
Well, it was a birthday rental, actually.
Oh, a rental. Okay. Oh, so you did see it in theaters. All right.
Well, unfortunately, basically a bunch of buddies kind of came over to celebrate the birthday. We had kind of a marathon, so we just kind of chipped in.
That's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so the bad guys. Believe me, I would have, if I could have, I would have gotten that, and we were hoping to do a feature of that and Everything Everywhere All at Once. But it wasn't streaming yet, so
Yeah, for sure.
that was the original plan and hope. But anyway,
Uh-huh.
so the bad guys.
Everywhere, everything all at once is killing it at the box office. By the way, fucking
Really?
killing it.
Is
Oh
it?
yeah.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, it's not like making Marvel money, but as far as like it keeps sticking in the top 5.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those kind of like indie movie success stories. Anyways,
Cool. All right, so so the bad guys, a lot of fun. DreamWorks definitely finding its way back, unequivocally. Just the animation.
were you as fascinated by Mr. Snake's shirt as I was?
I didn't really overthink it, but I did. I liked it because I like those kind of shirts and just swatch. But
No, I'm just saying, like the fabric of the shirt, I was so drawn to as far as like how it blends with the 2D.
I mean, it looked cool. I didn't think of it that way, but
Fair enough.
I don't know. I think it's probably. I did see textures on other stuff though. So you're probably right.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, so Sam Rockwell always a treat. Seriously, Sam Rockwell never disappoints out there. He's especially with voice work. He's really good with the voice.
This is legitimately one of my favorite Sam Rockwell roles now.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it's. I mean, that and Guy from He's really good as Guy in Galaxy Quest. But I think Sam Rockwell has so many great roles. I mean, honestly, Jojo Rabbit might be his best though. He was really good in Jojo.
Oh yeah, he was. But
there's that last scene in Jojo Rabbit still gets me, man. He's so perfect. And anyway, drifting off focus. Point being, Sam Rockwell, quite the treat, and you're absolutely right. He's dynamic with the Snake, with Mark Maron, wonderful, really good. Especially it's the meandering, the diner conversation, kind of like Pulp Fiction.
Very much a Pulp Fiction homage for sure.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. So it's got a great pace of the action, smoothness to the caper, which I'm loving. I only got 2 issues with this movie, Tiki. Just 2. One, I don't care for the piranha.
Yeah, fuck the piranha. He could have been cut out of the movie.
Here's the thing, Tiki. You know what the darndest thing is? You watch the trailers. I'll guarantee. I don't even know if he's in those trailers. That's the thing. He's either there. Or they just didn't show. They either didn't show him at all, or he's there so minimally you barely notice him. Because that's the thing. When I saw that piranha there, it's like, who's this guy? He's like, is he like the obvious twist villain everyone was talking about? That's the only thing I could think of.
His whole point is the fart jokes, and I'm just like, no, movie, you're better than this.
I did not like that at all. Like, I don't need him like gassing up the place.
No, I'm totally with you. The fart jokes, like, I wish the fart jokes were not a part of this movie.
Yeah, I just did not. That's the thing. So the piranha, I didn't like the piranha, and the other thing is, I think the movie suffers from guinea pig overload.
Quite literally, very, very, very literally.
I mean, look, Iote's one thing, like Richard Iote or Iote, however you say it. I like his character. I like the thing we do with him, but still his plot and the whole guinea pig overload thing. It's a bit much. It's like, why so many guinea pigs? Is this really all we had in the chamber? What are we going to do with the meteor? Really? So that's the thing. Also, I will say too, maybe it's a little convenient, with the governor. The governor kind of being. I like the governor. I like that story. If you think about it, little convenient that the governor also happens to do what she does.
Sure.
So,
what do you think of the 2 big Craig Robinson moments?
Oh, they were great.
Obviously, the pregnancy one and the whole like, Dad, let's play catch. Honestly, 2 of the biggest laugh out loud moments from DreamWorks I can think of.
It's great. Oh, am I pregnant?
I just love the whole premise of the shark, like just the anthropomorphic shark who's a bastard in disguise, and everyone just inexplicably buys it.
There's no way you remember this, okay? The only thing I've seen something close to this with the shark. It's really funny. So in Johnny Bravo, there was this episode.
Oh God!
You had just like Johnny's on a beach for an episode. I think they're doing like an homage to the Elvis Beach movies, essentially. Beach blanket sort of thing. And you have this shark that's going around, kind of like a Jaws homage, but essentially he's on land. He's walking around with the 2 fins, and he's wearing like a fake, like not even like a good like mask, like little Nixon mask, with like a little string.
I do remember that.
And he says something like, "Yeah, but I'm not a shark." I just.
But seriously though, the animation style in this, isn't it so on point?
It is. It's great.
Just how fluid the movement is.
I forget. I believe the story is based on like a children's book or something.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good call what they did with the style was. I'm very dazzled.
I mean, I am so down for this new style, this new kind of like style of animation that's kind of taking over where, it's like forget photorealism, fuck photorealism. Like, I want more stuff like this. I want more stuff that takes advantage of animation and flows like a cartoon, Like, my God, this is like the ultimate Tex Avery cartoon. All right.
I mean, in many senses, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Especially the wolf thing, but okay. So let's see. Next up on my Okay, so Dragon, remember when you said you thought that one movie was going to be just like kind of a filler?
Yeah.
Well, this is my filler, The Rental. I was like, okay, it's directed by Dave Franco. It's 80 minutes long.
If ever there was an appropriate title.
Yeah. I'll crack it out. And yeah, this is very, very, very forgettable. It's just kind of like a slasher movie, It's like they go to a rental. Like, I feel like the kind of like the inspiration for the movie, I think, is this whole paranoia people have now about Airbnb renters like putting like hidden cameras and stuff in Airbnbs. Which is a decent enough premise. Like, the whole idea is that they rent out this vacation house, and the guy who's renting the vacation house out is the serial killer who's kind of like picking them off. Ah, God, it's just a nothing burger of a movie, Dragon. I have seen this same type of movie done a million times better. The movie X just came out this year, and that was like a complete like revitalization of the slasher genre. And this just felt like, I don't know. I mean, all due respect to Dave Franco, but yeah, this was it wasn't even bad, Dragon. It was just very, very forgettable. Right? Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to
Ambulance.
Ambulance, yes. So Ambulance, this was surprisingly, Peacock's made quite the turnaround. They've been adding things a lot faster, like from theater, like before like it gets to the rental and streaming thing. Well, I mean, it's it was available for rental, but finally they entered streaming. So I remember the trailer for this movie. Trailer.
Are the Jurassic World movies on Peacock?
I mean, I believe so. At least the old ones are. They should.
I have a bone to pick with that because I remember distinctly the Jurassic World movies being on HBO Max.
Now, I don't know for a fact. I'm just assuming because I know I've seen the Jurassic Park movies there. I'm assuming by proxy.
Well, here's the thing: the Jurassic Park movies are on HBO Max, but not the Jurassic World movies.
Well, take it up with the contracts, man. I don't know.
No, I'm just saying it pisses. This is like a mini rant about streaming services, but it pisses me off because it's like, I want to go back and rewatch those two just to get myself caught up for for Dominion. But God damn, it's like, I feel like HBO Max was literally just like, oh no, we're gonna pull Jurassic World because people are actually interested in watching it now. Like, there's a valid reason for people to want to watch it, so you can't have it. I don't know. It just feels like these streaming services are just playing games with us at this point. Anyway,
it's a shell game, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, you thought it was there, now it's here.
I mean, I'm not even that big of a fan of Jurassic World, but it's like I said, I want to get caught up with it. I want to just get a refresh on it. Anyways,
yeah, we want to see D'Onofrio go to war with dinosaurs. So,
not really. No, that's the thing I'm least looking forward to revisiting.
I know. I was kidding, but yes.
I know.
Anywho, say Ambulance. I remember the trailer for this. I mean, it was like
literally everything in Fallen Kingdom is better than that plot line.
Yeah. So Ambulance is one of those movies that it's like you did not want to see it in theaters, but you absolutely wanted to watch it on streaming. So I finally got the chance to do that. So yeah, this is the movie with Jake.
I felt that way about Sonic 2.
Yeah. So this is with Jake Gyllenhaal and Yal Abdul Mateen II. Black Manta and Dr. Man and John from
Yeah.
Yes, and Chicago 7 as well for the kids out there. So this great leads you have there, and essentially these two guys.
It's Bay, right?
It's what?
Michael Bay.
You know what? I got to be honest. I think so, but I didn't.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think I remember that. Here's the thing: I vividly remember the trailer throwing Michael Bay's name in there, but I don't know
I'm
for a
like
fact.
90% sure it is.
I think you're right too. I just don't know for a fact. I feel bad because I watched the movie because I don't remember. I don't know if maybe said Michael Bay. Here's the thing: I don't know if it was Bay produced or Bay directed. That's what I can't reconcile.
You want me to Google it really quick just to confirm?
I mean, it'd be nice.
All right, hold on. Magic of Google, yay! Let's see. Ambulance, directed by Michael Bay. Yep.
Okay, clarification. Yeah, Michael Bay did a really good job with this. You gotta be honest. He did like a. Really
you know what? Michael Bay's kind of been on an upward trajectory recently.
In between this and not again wasn't the greatest movie, but again it was an improvement for him. The Six Underground, Ryan Reynolds.
That's what I'm saying. It's like neither of those movies like I'm particularly like drawn to see, but for fuck's sake, I'm sure they're better than the Transformers movies.
Yeah, this again. Here's the thing. This has like some, I think, watered down in a good way, just compared to how bombastic he was with these sort of things before. It's like the traits are there, but I think they're a lot more manageable here. Because I mean the chase, basically it's like Michael Bay put a lot of his energy into the chase sequences, like during like the police chase. So essentially, premise is Yael Abdul Mateen II. He's a war veteran whose wife is sick, and he's trying to he's going through insurance companies and everything, and everyone says basically we're not helping our troops, which of course the military thing that Michael Bay very much has very vested interest in. It's very much like we failed our troops essentially with this poor guy who's trying to help his wife. He can't get any financial assistance, so his brother, who has kind of become a bit of a guy working in the criminal underworld, he basically offers him a role in a bank robbery that would give him all the money he needs. And the idea he's really close to his brother. So the idea of Jake Gyllenhaal is his kind of his brother, by the way. So that's the thing. I don't know if it's like an adopted brother thing. I can't quite recall if they're just really close. But regardless, ever since they were kids, though. So to rob a bank, goes belly up. Which their solution is, their getaway car is totaled, so they hijack an ambulance, and an officer gets shot during the guy who kind of botches the whole bank robbery. So they're in tow with him, and again, these are fundamentally, particularly the Abdul Mateen. He's being a soldier. He's a good guy. He does not want the cop. He doesn't want anyone to get hurt. So they basically take this cop and the lady in the EMT in the ambulance hostage. It's kind of like Speed. There's a lot of speed in there. It's basically they're on the road and kind of in a car chase during all this as the police are following and trying to defuse things. And I'll tell you one thing. There's one sequence I got to look away from though, because there's an intense surgical scene that's like,
oh no, yeah, I know how you do with those.
It's so intense. Let me give you so they're in the middle of a police chase. I believe guns are going off, if I recall. So the battery on the thing, basically they're calling up doctors to walk them through the EMT how to perform the surgery while she's being held hostage. And as her hands are in the guy, which again at this point I'm blocking my hand, putting my hands in front of my face because I just can't watch. The battery goes dead on her tablet, so they have to eyeball it. Horrifying, utterly so intense and horrifying to me. But aside from that. I mean, again, there might be an argument that it's a little long, but I don't know. It feels kind of necessitated though, because it's going on. It's a little bit of like a dog day afternoon vibe in terms of like kind of a hostage on wheels, and it's there's a clever shell game moment during the thing and how they kind of have to try and get away from the cops. I don't know. It ends rather interestingly, and Jake Gyllenhaal, by the way. He is so good in this movie because I love that.
I mean, he's definitely like the kind of compelling point to this thing. So yeah,
and Gyllenhaal's just so smooth. He's such a smooth criminal when he's in the places pretending to be the bank manager.
I feel like Gyllenhaal's just at a point in his career where he's just like never bad in anything.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. I mean, he's so smooth. And then here's what's great about it though. He's smooth at the start, but when he's in the ambulance, forced to help her with the surgery and everything. He is freaking out.
Oh, that's fun.
He has no idea what he's doing. He's just freaking out in the medical situation. Like, which one? That one, his right, you idiot. So he's delightful in this.
Okay, all right. So next up, Top Gun. So Dragon, first of all, we probably should have announced this, like not announced it. It's not like a big announcement or anything, but we probably should have addressed it up front that neither of us got around to seeing Maverick yet. I am certainly going to see Maverick this weekend. It's just like last weekend, I made a choice between Bob's Burgers and Maverick. I could only see one. Probably should have gone with Maverick, in all honesty. Like, I didn't hate Bob's Burgers, but I was very lukewarm on it. But I digress. The first movie, you know what? You know what's funny, Dragon, is that I grew up going to California Great America back when it was Paramount's Great America. They actually had a Top Gun roller coaster. So I grew up, like, for a while, I honestly kind of associated Top Gun with a roller coaster without even knowing that it was a movie. But, yeah, this movie, unfortunately for me, it did not it did not whet my appetite for Maverick. As a matter of fact, it kind of, like, did the opposite for me a little bit, because this movie's dated, man. It's super dated.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're playing volleyball on the beach, Tiki.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know.
Tiki, I think we lost...
What?
We lost the banner.
Oh, we did. Oh, I just did throw ketchup up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just, like, this movie, like, just the style. I'm sure Maverick is wonderful, but my thing with Maverick, Dragon, it's like, you know, by all means, I'm going to catch it in theaters, but I'm worried that people are overhyping Maverick, because I keep hearing Maverick, like, you're like, oh my God, best movie ever. I'm like, really? Like, really? The fucking sequel to this? To this? This is not a great movie. It's a, like, I feel like this is kind of like the Independence Day of the 80s, right? Where it's like, if you grew up with it, or if you, like, watched it on TV a bunch of times or whatever, then you love it, sure. But as someone who has no nostalgic connection to this movie at all, I really thought it was just... I mean, I think Val Kilmer is obviously probably the most compelling thing about it. Frankly, I think the Tom Cruise character, there's some misogynistic stuff in this movie that I was not a fan of in regards to the Tom Cruise character. I don't want to dwell too much on that with the politics, because I don't really care all that much, but I'm just saying, it's like, he very much objectifies the love interest in this movie, very much so. Like, to the point where I'm like, okay, 80s, you can quit being 80s, because you are like, this poor woman who actually has a pretty promising career is essentially just Tom Cruise's just like sex object. And I was not crazy about that part of the movie at all. But I digress. Politics, yay. Yeah, I like the rivalry. I like the fact that, I like the fact that, it's kind of like the competitive school environment. But man, this movie just, it just feels so dated, man. This just feels like such a, I don't know. I wasn't really stoked on it at all. I feel like this is a type of movie where it's like, if you didn't grow up with it, it's hard to appreciate it. And I very much felt that. But I'm still excited for Maverick, if anything else, just because of all the practical effects. So we'll see how it goes. All right.
Okay, that brings us to mystery movie number 2.
Yes.
And you're going to like this one too. Wolfwalkers.
Oh, man. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so this is what I filled in Everything Everywhere All at Once with.
Okay.
So, very impressive animated film. Very much.
I love this studio's animation style, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's very Tartakovsky-esque.
Uh-huh.
Which I appreciated. It's cut from the same cloth, one could say.
Yeah,
Earned its acclaim, no question.
I mean, I feel like this studio is doing for 2D animation what Leica is doing for stop motion, honestly.
I mean, pretty much. What other movies has the studio done? Or like,
Secret of the Kells and one other one that I'm forgetting now.
Secret of the Kells?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I know the joke that you're making.
But... No, I'm not saying. I'm just thinking.
Okay, that's our little intro, people.
Anyway, so
get it together, man.
All right. Well, again, I thought you were going somewhere with some other films you were going to list. So it's just The Secret of the Kells.
No, it's just 2. It's just 2 others. They're a pretty new animation studio.
All right, and it's not Skydance, right?
No, it's Toon Boom.
Gotcha. Yes, of course. The premise.
Wait, is that right? No, I don't think that's right. Hold on.
It doesn't sound right.
It doesn't. I think it. Hold on.
So anyway, so you have this little girl, kind of turns bit by a wolf, becomes a wolf walker, kind of like almost like a dream walker of sorts, kind of an astral form goes into the body of a wolf. Yeah, I mean, I really like the historical aspect of it too, where it's kind of like the Irish were very much like the English and the Irish were mixing it up back in the day, so we kind of have that tone there. And like the girl's father, of course, the MVP of the film, I thought the girl's father is fantastic. He's getting over a loss, and they're very much the outsiders in the Irish town.
One of the few Sean Bean characters to not die.
Yeah, even though it seemed like they were going to kill him off.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the guy just can't catch a break. We're sending the daughter off to the scullery, which sucks. Sculleries stink, guys. And yeah, just I'll admit.
Cartoon Saloon is the studio.
Ooh, nice. So, I mean, admittedly, only have 2 bits of the movie that kind of like detract slightly, but slightly. I think again, there's kind of a deceleration between Act 2 and Act 3 as we're building up to the climax, just like a little bit. What it more so is this: like, how many times do we build up? Will the mama wolf be okay? It just gets a little.
I hear you.
I mean, look, to have that as dramatic stakes, okay, that's fine. Like, I love
it's a fair point. It's totally a valid criticism.
Like her behind the cage and everything, that's great. But it's the whole like, how many times are going to cut away to her like grabbing the face and like, are you okay? It gets a little old. But yeah, seriously, fantastic film. I'm interested to see what the other stuff the studio cracks out.
Well, if you're interested, I would recommend going back and seeing Secret of the Kells, and then also the other one is Song of the Sea.
There's no chance he's in that movie, is there?
No.
Wouldn't that be great? Oh, it'd be so great if he was.
God damn. Okay, just to explain the in-joke, people, the Kells is our nickname for Kelsey Grammer.
Well, it's not just our nickname. He's been called that by other people.
That's fair.
The Kells.
But Dragon, all 3 of those movies, plus those 2 plus Wolfwalkers, is actually a trilogy, like kind of like a thematic trilogy of Irish folklore stories.
So it's Song of the Sea, Wolfwalkers, and the Secret of the Kells.
Secret of the Kells.
So it's an Irish trilogy.
Yeah.
Of sorts, of like in theme.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Cornetto trilogy, except Irish folklore instead of ice cream.
You think all movies going forward are going to be Irish? Or they clearly say, we're just going to do like kind of 3, and then we're going to move on to others?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they were all Irish because the studio is obviously like based out of Ireland. But like, if it is, I think that all 3 movies that they've done are very distinct from each other. So it's not like I don't know.
Isn't that a cool international idea? Just the fact that each studio, like we have like Ghibli, we have like
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this studio very much feels like the Ghibli of Ireland. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's a really cool notion that internationally we have animation studios from overseas now movies that are Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's see. So now we get into the black and white / silent portion of my catch up, starting with The Belle de Bat, a.k.a. Beauty and the Beast, 1946. And I probably totally butchered that pronunciation. And I'm going to be totally honest with you on this one. I was actually pretty hyped to watch it. You know what this is, right?
Well, is it like an adaptation of Beauty and the Beast? Or what?
Yeah, obviously.
Well, that's what I figured. I mean, I haven't seen
But I mean, like, you're aware of the set design from it, though?
Not really.
Oh, no, okay. Well, it basically inspired the Museum of the Weird.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's like the set design is like a whole bunch of like hands as furniture and stuff like that. I got to admit, Dragon, this movie, it's like I love the set design of it. It very much feels like the Haunted Mansion. I didn't really care for a lot else in this movie, honestly. Like, I feel like the pacing is pretty dragged out. The acting is just kind of like the acting's not bad, but it's just kind of like, just pretty like, first of all, it's in French, so it's hard to get a grasp of the performances that way. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like basic, like, 1950s foreign film acting, or 1940s. I don't know. I honestly don't have a ton to say about this one outside of the set design, and the set design is pretty fucking immaculate. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward Beauty and the Beast adaptation. So, but the set design's cool. But but it doesn't this movie wasn't transcendent in the same way that Caligari was for me.
I see.
So yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to compete with Caligari, though. Let's be honest.
No, I know, but I was hoping I was hoping for it though, just because I've heard so much hype about the production design of this movie. But like I said, unfortunately, I think Caligari just is elevated by its production design along with a lot of its thematic stuff. And this one, the thematic stuff is pretty on the nose. Beauty and the Beast is Beauty and the Beast. It's pretty straightforward adaptation.
I
So
know Turner Classic isn't quite what it once was. It'd be really great if they did one of those. They have like the film historian hype up the movie before it comes on, but with Nick Cage for Caligari.
Oh, totally. I could totally see that.
That'd be so nice.
All right.
Okay, let me tell you about A Walk Among the Tombstones.
I've heard of this one.
As have I, and I finally got around to seeing it because because of Obi-Wan, I've had Liam Neeson on my mind. So I was kind of twofold. Liam Neeson, and I found out the other person who's in the movie is the antagonist, David Harbour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Harbour is so creepy in this movie, man.
Is he really? Really?
Yeah, he's a real piece of work. So essentially,
Liam, I would not have guessed that in David Harbour's range. I'm impressed.
So of the Liam Neeson movies, sometimes they range from rather exceptional to then just kind of standard action fare. Through all of it, though, Liam Neeson always delivers. He's great. I mean, he's Oscar Schindler for pity's sake. If he, rarely does the man.
It's Oscar Schindler.
It's Oscar Schindler. The prequels. I mean, Qui-Gon Jinn, rather good.
Uh-huh.
So Liam Neeson here. This is a kind of like a modern noir story of sorts. It's adapting a novel. I don't know if it's from the 40s. But it's adapting a novel, I think, where basically it's kind of this noir story where Liam Neeson, I believe, is he's a recovering alcoholic who used to be a former dirty cop.
Uh-huh.
And he's kind of like not a PI, but he's kind of like for hire. So he gets hired to get revenge on David, to find and get revenge on David Harbour, who basically is a nasty piece of work, who kidnapped. Basically, he's almost like I guess technically a serial killer. Essentially, what he does is he's kind of like a ransom and he's a kidnap and ransomer.
Oh,
he kidnaps loved ones, but they never come back alive. Is the idea.
Ooh.
So he kidnaps and basically he taints people with the poison of hope. And he then basically, he puts him on the phone. The whole thing kind of puts the fear of God into him. And the creepiest thing he does, and they don't show this, but they imply it very, very heavily, and it's scary that he cuts pieces off of him and mails him off. And I won't repeat what he does to this poor guy's wife. That essentially makes Neeson, the first call here.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, at this day, are just tortures and ransoms people he never delivers on his end. So Neeson's perfect in this film. I've always heard good hype around this film, and it's warranted. He conveys history.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
he conveys history and control really well. I mean, there's a scene, of course, if you ever need water is wet sort of thing. Neeson on a phone is magnetic. Liam Neeson, seriously, he's all because again, because seriously, he's dealing with David Harbour on the phone because it's a ransom thing, and Neeson having all the control. The idea is he just kind of inserts himself into a new hostage situation so he can get the guy, and in doing so, it's he's like David Harbour's who's this guy? Who am I dealing with? And it's just a battle of control over the phone, which is really interesting. And also, there's a street kid in the movie. It's not like the usual. We got to give him a sidekick. There's something kind of real there. There's this black kid named TJ who's kind of a street vagrant, but he's not whiny about it or anything. He's not woe is me. He's not I never got a chance. He's just a kid, and he has this really interesting dynamic with Liam Neeson. He's kind of like his sidekick. And it's really interesting. Boyd Holbrook's in it too, in a kind of a small role. There's a scene where he kind of scares the kid straight with a gun that is just so well acted. My God, what Neeson does in this scene, he's making all the right choices. Just it's wonderful. So, yeah, it delivers, man. They lived up to the hype. It was a good Liam Neeson action movie, kind of on the kind of the Taken side of the equator.
Cool. Ooh, okay. So yeah, after Caligari, I am on a little bit of a silent horror streak. So hence my last two entries here. Both Lon Chaney movies. Phantom of the Opera, 1925. Yeah, this is great. I really, really love this. What's really fascinating about this is like I'm most of my knowledge of Phantom of the Opera, like I haven't actually like sat down and watched the musical like from beginning to end, but you know I'm familiar with the plot of it. What's really interesting is how much of that musical is actually faithful to this, because it pretty much is a pretty straightforward retelling. But yeah, I think obviously the big highlight here is, of course, Lon Chaney. And I am honestly very, very fascinated with Lon Chaney's career trajectory. And I think I am going to probably be watching more of his stuff in the future, because it's a totally different style of acting than we're used to, obviously. But it is so magnetic on screen.
Yeah. Oh,
Like that one iconic moment from this film where he the mask gets pulled off and you see his face for the first time and he has that horrified reaction to his face being revealed. I mean, I don't know, man. Just this movie very much has a really authentic, creepy vibe to it. Like, it's not as creepy as something like Nosferatu, but it's up there. It honestly did unnerve me in a few scenes. So not a ton to say about it. Like, it's a very straightforward adaptation of Phantom of the Opera. Like I said, obviously the lead performance is the shining one. I don't really like all the other characters are just kind of there for the most part, but my God, man, I need to see more Lon Chaney stuff.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I'm going down a rabbit hole with this whole silent horror thing.
And the Chaney family is just, the Lon Chaney family. Great, just a great
good distinction.
Yeah, sorry, but I just realized I'm thinking of the spelling. I was like, oh, wait a minute, no, I should. That sounds. But no, I mean Lon Chaney. But I was always
weird if that Chaney was technically connected to Lon Chaney.
Well, I mean, if you want to be all meta about it, well, I mean, again, you have kind of Christian Bale doing a Lon Chaney for.
Oh my God,
for Dick Cheney. But no, seriously, Lon Chaney Jr. was always my guy. I love Lon Chaney Jr. So I mean, but yeah, the father though was quite spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me talk about the last one I got here. This is possibly the best one I saw this month, possibly. The Quick and the Dead.
Okay.
So this is the Sam Raimi Western that he did.
Ooh,
I heard about this, and I was reading Bruce Campbell's book a while back, and he mentioned The Quick and the Dead. I had no idea Sam Raimi did a Western, and I realized I've always been wanting to watch it because Gene Hackman's in it. And I noticed it was on. I checked for it on streaming. It was on Netflix, and
excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and oh my God, it's a Sam Raimi Western with a stunning cast, like one of the most stacked cast ever. Like, dear God, it's great. Like it's so good. You got Sam Raimi basically like I love Sam Raimi like genre blending because he's so good at it. I think it's probably what he does best. And he kind of like dips into the other genres. Like we see him do the horror.
No, yeah, you're not wrong at all. I feel like that is kind of like his signature. Like Evil Dead is obviously kind of like a trailblazing comedy horror thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so this is just like Sam Raimi taking on the Western was just a genius idea. He did so good with it. Like all the Westerns should be done by Sam Raimi. Like it's so good. It's just like you have this. Essentially, it's a great revenge tale in a form. I think you would love the framing device for this. So essentially, the whole premise is. Sharon Stone, and honestly, because I'm not usually a Sharon Stone fan, it's one of the best things I've seen her in.
I was traumatized at an early age by Sharon Stone from the Catwoman movies, so that's my Sharon Stone experience.
Yeah, well, this is a good Sharon Stone.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing, as much as I love Casino, I know a lot of people praise her, and I was not crazy about her in Casino, but I loved her in this. So, anyway, essentially, it's a revenge tale. Her father was killed by Gene Hackman. She wants revenge, and Gene Hackman doesn't recognize because she was a girl at the time. And basically, she goes to this ghost town. It's kind of like a Western town, and they're having an annual quick draw contest. Now, what this means is, so long as you stay in this town, if you stay in this town during this contest, anytime someone challenges you to a shootout, like a dueling pistols at dawn sort of thing. I mean, like to a quick draw, you have to say yes, and you could get winged, just shot in the shoulder, or full on killed, and you can't say no. And there's like a betting pool of sorts that goes on. So yeah, and basically, she wants to just challenge him outright and just kind of shoot him, but she has to play by the rules, and ultimately she kind of has to work her way like up the roster to get to him. And meanwhile, you have like Russell Crowe, who's really good in this. Russell Crowe is like kind of he's an ex kind of like a gunfighter who accidentally killed a preacher, and he became a priest because of that. He's renounced violence, and Gene Hackman can't abide that because he used to be a worse guy like Gene Hackman. And they just basically he's prisoner for like the whole movie, being forced to compete in the gunfights, and he hates himself for it. It's really interesting. So you have all that going on, and it gets even better. DiCaprio, a very young Leonardo DiCaprio,
really?
He plays Gene Hackman's son, who's charming who's charming for days,
like Gilbert Grape levels of young.
Yeah, like 95.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is like in 1995, so it's pretty early for DiCaprio. It's like basically it's DiCaprio before he put on the weight. That's a thing. It's like, because again, the face doesn't change in this guy, only the weight does. But yeah, seriously, DiCaprio, he was good too. He's very likable. He's got like kind of that Raimi charm kind of brimming about him, and the idea like the son is not a bad guy, but he's definitely trying to live up to his father, who is kind of like looking down on him a little bit. So again, you got like I'm just gonna briefly like list. You got Pat Hingle. You got in a good role this time. You got Pat Hingle. You got Keith David. Man, Keith David was really cool too. Anyways, it's just, again, stacked cast. It's nice and simple. It's got a lot of style to it. Like when someone gets shot, they get shot, Tiki. It's not like a member like, oh, you see a bunch of people getting shot. No, in a Western, when someone gets shot in a quick draw contest, it counts. It's like a big ceremony. So it's just this thing was just so freaking good, man. It was so good. One of the best Sam Raimi things I've seen.
Nice, cool. All right, finally, Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Lon Chaney version. I'm honestly kind of surprised I haven't seen this one yet, given my affinity for the Disney Hunchback. And I really like this. Not quite as memorable as Phantom for me, but in some ways it's very interesting, because Phantom, like I said, was like, I was actually kind of like taken aback by how close it is to the musical in regards to the plot. But Hunchback is it's a pretty... Like I like this Hunchback because it's obviously way more book accurate than the Disney version, but it also takes some liberties too, and so it's a very interesting kind of like amalgamation of because I feel like obviously like Quasimodo is kind of like instead of a fully sympathetic figure, he's kind of played as a little bit of like, he's kind of like got a Frankenstein's monster kind of vibe a little bit, where, he's kind of like the sympathetic monster. And I feel like that's a really interesting direction to go. Who actually really shines in this movie as far as like just the characterization goes is Kloppen, to tell you the truth.
Really?
Yeah, like, because Kloppen is like, he's the king of the gypsies, and and he actually there's actually a lot of interesting character work with him, believe it or not. But yeah, overall very, very strong film, really good production design, arguably even better production design than Phantom of the Opera. Just not, I just don't think it has like an iconic money shot moment like Phantom does with the unmasking scene, and that's really the only kind of nitpick I have. Other than that, they're pretty much like on a similar scale. And to tell you the truth, I think the supporting cast for this movie is a little bit more memorable than the supporting cast of Phantom, which, like I said, is mostly just like, the supporting cast of Phantom is like, they're just here to play the roles, but it's really Lon Chaney we're interested in. And this, I feel like I was drawn to more of the characters and more of the performances. Obviously, Chaney's still the standout, of course. Whereas Phantom, I feel like Phantom has higher highs, more iconic moments, but less of an interesting ensemble. So yeah, but yeah, overall, Dragon, like I said, I'm still very much going to be pursuing my this whole silent horror thing. So look forward to more of those in my catch up in the future. All right, and that's it. We've reached the end. Thank God. Okay, best and worst, Dragon. What do you got?
Okay. Well, I don't really have a worst. I mean, if I like gun to my head, I mean, I only by process of elimination. I ambulance was not bad, but it would probably, out of all the impressive things, it probably might stack lowest. I don't know,
Uh-huh.
but again, it was good. I really liked it though. Best easily, The Quick and the Dead.
Nice. Okay, for me, best.
Oh wait. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Actually, worst by process of elimination might be Our Father, but again, not aggressively so.
Really?
Well, again, it's not bad. I'm saying if I had, I'm going to say I didn't have any worst. I'm just
That's
saying.
honestly kind of shocking.
I'm just saying. I mean,
We're glowing about Our Father.
No, that's what I'm saying. I lucked out this month, man. I didn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
any bad movies. I'm saying I had no bad movies, but I had The Quick and the Dead was the best. I'm sorry.
Fair. All right, for me, best. I mean, obviously, like how much I'm glowing about it. Like Succession, by far, like it on the TV front, like Succession was by far the most captivating thing I watched this month. My head is still spinning from it. But as far as the movies go, I'll have to throw it to Phantom. And worst, it's kind of like I'm kind of two minds on this. Like I'm tempted to go with The Rental just because it's so forgettable and fillery. But I hate to say this. I really hate to say this because I'm a fan of creator-driven cinema, but men just did not land at all with me. Like I was so uncomfortable with that movie. So yeah, I'm gonna have like especially the in-theater experience with Men Dragon. Like if I was watching Men in the comfort of my own home, that'd be one thing. But I was in a full goddamn theater, and there are things in that movie that I literally cannot speak of. Dragon, like, oh man. So yeah, Men is like, again, I hate to say it because it's an A24 movie, and usually I'm very much a champion for for auteur directors. But no, Men just did not work. It did not land with me. It's easily Alex Garland's worst movie, and I really hope he comes out with something better after it. So, whew. All right. So, folks, I'm totally blanking on the outro. I'm sorry. Hold on. I think I have it written down. You have the outro in that email you sent me? Yes, you do. Thank you. Okay. Well, folks, we've waxed on long enough. It's time to put the pen down. Until next time, when we return with another fitting chapter in our movie memoirs.
Yeah, the pen, we put it down. Look at it right there. Click.
Poor A. Milne.
Mills.